Hello and welcome to Corner Sport Arena in beautiful Chihuahua, Mexico for the 2024 Major Arena Soccer League Ron Newman Cup Finals featuring the Kansas City Comets and the defending champion Chihuahua Savage. 48 hours ago, in front of a packed house in Kansas City, the Savage upset the Comets on their home turf, winning by a score of 4-3. That sets the stage tonight for Game 2 in a do or die for Kansas City. If the Comets win Game 2, that'll force a knockout game which will start 10 minutes at the conclusion of Game 1. If they do not, their season is over. If the Chihuahua Savage win Game 2, then they have the right to claim the title, back-to-back MASL champions. Hello everybody, my name is Christian Philemon, otherwise known as Philly, and joining me, my good friend and colleague. He goes by the nickname Doc, but we call him Jonathan Reimer.
Good evening, Philly, and good evening to everyone tuning in on CBS Sports Golazo Network from across the globe. We have quite a matchup for you tonight. Kansas City, can they score outside of set pieces? Can they manage the confines of Corner Sports Arena, a difficult arena to come in and play, and be the first team from north of the border to win 2 games here in Chihuahua? For Chihuahua, everything is to their advantage. Home field, up 1. They've just got to see it out, Philly.
We have an exciting game before us. Doc, what are you looking for from both teams?
As I mentioned, Kansas City, they're going to need to control the frenetic pace of the game that happens in this small turf here in Corner Sports Arena. For Chihuahua, they're going to have to continue and keep that pressure, pound the net, try and test Neto, and get that lead early and get these fans behind them.
Folks, you've heard it right here. The table has been set. We will be back in just a moment. You are watching the MASL Ron Newman Cup Finals live on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Back in just a moment for the start of today's game.
The Major Arena Soccer League is proud to welcome you to MASL Soccer on CBS Sports Golazo Network. My name is Jonathan Reimer. You can call me Doc, and joining me is tonight's play-by-play, Christian Philly Philemon.
Thank you, Doc. It is electric. It is deafening. It is unbelievable atmosphere here in Corner Sport Arena, and as it should be, we have a championship game before us featuring the defending champion Chihuahua Savage and the Kansas City Comets. This is going to be a tough matchup as the Chihuahua Savage have gone 10-1-0 at home during the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. They have never lost to a U.S.-based team at home in the playoffs.
Not more than once, that's for sure. Kansas City is going to have to do it twice, and do it twice tonight if they are going to walk home with that Ron Newman Cup. Game 1 will consist of 4 quarters. The Chihuahua Savage come out on top at the end of 4 quarters. They will be crowned this year's Ron Newman Cup champions. Should the Kansas City Comets win in Game 1, we will have a 10-minute break, and we will go into a knockout game to determine our winner, Philly.
We've seen a lot of crazy things over the 10-year history of the Major Arena Soccer League. Kansas City is very, very much in today's game and in this series. I want to give a big shout-out at home to everybody watching on CBS Sports Golazo Network, and an extra special shout-out to the Kansas City Comets watch party going on at Paul and Jack's Tavern. If you're within that Kansas City area and you need somewhere to go no further than Paul and Jack's Tavern. I'm being told that the Andreos family is on hand.
Well, Christian Andreos, a star for the Kansas City Comets. Great to have his family there. Folks, just want to remind you that the MASL Combine is headed to sunny Southern Diego, California. And if you think you have what it takes to be the next star of the MASL, head to maslsoccer.com to sign up and receive more information.
As we said, the atmosphere is deafening. It's electrifying. And in an arena that holds about 1,200 people, you'd think that it was about 12,000 people with how loud it gets. There was a line going down the block as we turned into the parking lot. There's a lot of excitement in the city of Chihuahua. When you and I first landed here, we got picked up. We saw a big billboard with Roberto Escalante prominently featured as we drove out of there. And Roberto Escalante is going to be one of those players to keep an eye out on.
For those of you that missed Game 1 of the series, the Chihuahua Savage took the lead early from Miguel Angel Diaz in the first quarter. Kansas City equalized with Nacho Flores assisting Lucas Souza. Kansas City Comets took the lead 2-1. Souza also assisted by Flores once again. And then on a penalty kick, took a 3-1 lead and looked like they were skating on to the first win at home. Chihuahua Savage came back in that third quarter. Roberto Escalante and Hugo La Roca Puente scored each to tie the game up at 3. And then finally, Roberto Escalante, assisted by Carlos Popper Hernandez, took that 4-3 lead that saw Chihuahua through to a victory in Game 1.
Hand, stealing a win at Cable Dama Arena. Kansas City can do the same exact thing. We've seen it in the past with Baltimore down in Mexico. Could that be the case? And it would be fitting because we're right around the 31st anniversary of the Kansas City Attack winning their first indoor title as a member of the NPSL.
Folks, our officiating crew for tonight will be headed by Kia DePana. He will be assisted by Fernando Pena. Our third and fourth officials tonight will be Mauricio Alache and Pedro Gonzalez in the black. Chihuahua Savage are wearing their white jerseys this evening. They have red across the shoulders. Kansas City Comets in the solid red.
Kansas City Comets, coached by Stefan Stokic. Chihuahua Savage, coached by Henoni Martinez. Two masterful tacticians that are going to be playing one heck of a game of chess here this evening. We're moments away from the start of today's game. It's Tuesday night, wherever you are. Thank you again for joining us. It should be a rip-roaring good time.
We're here in the heart of the Sierra Madre Mountains in the city of Chihuahua, the largest state in Mexico, Chihuahua being its capital, known for the legendary Copper Canyon, about 4 times the size of the Grand Canyon. It's a beautiful place. Elevation currently sitting about 4,635 feet above sea level, my friend.
It's a fantastic area. We were fortunate enough to stay in the Distrito Uno section where there have been a lot of great restaurants and establishments. If you planned a trip to Chihuahua, that would be the place to stay. Distrito Uno. You and I are fortunate enough to have been here for our 3 occasions. And of course, we have to recognize the fact that we're celebrating 10 years in the Major Arena Soccer League. It's unbelievable that we've had 10 years of this, and you got to check out the new weekly show, 10 for 10, with host Eric Bergrud, who no doubt is over at the tavern at the Comets watch party. Hello, Eric Bergrud. Shout out to our other good friend, Nick Vasos.
You can find MASL on social media at MASL Soccer on all your social media there. And of course, you can head over to the MASL Soccer Twitch page to watch some of our weekly shows.
So it looks like the starters for the Kansas City Comet, Nacho Flores, Chad Vandergriff, Zach Reggett, Ramon Palmer, Leo Lalo Acosta, and of course, in net, Nicolau Neto. Waiting for confirmations in regards to who's going to be starting for the Savage, but no doubt in between the pipes, one of the most formidable goalkeepers in the history of indoor soccer, Diego Reynoso.
Diego Reynoso getting all MASL second team honors this year, just behind the keeper of the year, Chris Toth of the Tacoma Stars. Diego Reynoso put on a show in Game 1. Massive saves left and right. He is going to be a huge factor in tonight's match.
As will Hugo Puentes, Arturo Valle. Looks like Roberto Escalante is getting the start. Brian Macias, his nickname is Flaco, which means skinny. We're still waiting the rest of the starters. If you look at the stats throughout the course of the regular season, you won't see too many Chihuahua Savage players there in terms of goals and points. This is a team that very much functions together as a union. Between Puentes and Escalante, they are a team that fires on all cylinders. There are no stars. It's a collection of several stars.
Carlos Popper Hernandez was the one who got the golden goal victory in last year to go ahead and secure that victory for the Chihuahua Savage in the Western Conference Finals. This team has talent spread top to bottom, Philly.
Leonardo Acosta is going to get things going off here in Corner Sport Arena. Sure you could hear on the broadcast, Vamos Savage being chanted very loudly, waiting for the official to blow his whistle. Whether or not the players are going to hear it, that's going to be a different story. I have a tough enough time hearing you, and you're right next to me.
Such is the case here in Corner Sports Arena, one of the most deafening and electric environments one could see in the world of indoor sports. A must visit for anyone looking for those away days.
And we are underway. Game 2 of the Ron Newman MASL Cup Finals has just begun. over the course of the regular season. The Chihuahua Savage were a team that went 16-7-1. The Kansas City Comets 14-6-4. Neither of these teams were tops in their division, yet they find themselves here in the MASL Finals. There's Hugo Puentes, a player to definitely keep your eye on. His nickname is La Roca, which means the rock, and he's been a rock. Carlos Hernandez intercepts, goes to the left. Puentes has it, a shot that deflects off the captain of the Comets, Nacho Flores. Roberto Escalante picks it back up, passes it over to Arturo Valle, who goes into his keeper, Diego Reynoso. Cheeky back heel. Opportunity for the Savage. Little push off there on Nacho Flores. Already looks like the referees are letting both teams play, and that's what you want to see in a final, especially a do or die scenario. Reggett going on the board, getting pushed in.
Zach Reggett, number 8, your Cole Golden Boot winner on the season. Chihuahua Savage did a fantastic job of game 1 of stifling him. If Kansas City's going to get into this series, they're going to need goals from Zach Reggett.
See Chad Vandergriff, a former MASL Defender of the Year, along with his backline mate in that of Robert Berto Palmer, who also is an MASL Defender of the Year. He is the current reigning Defender of the Year, in fact. The backline for the Comets is very tough to score upon. And throughout the course of the playoffs, if you look at the stats, both teams are fairly equal when it comes to goals for. It's the goal differential that's been the difference maker. Reynoso kicks it out of his team's defending end. Picked up by Santiago Ramos.
It's that old adage, Philly. Defense wins championships.
Battle. Passed over to Christian Quintana. Quintana started off his season with the Dallas Sidekicks, but has come on and has been a big part of Chihuahua's run into the postseason. Ray Lee with an attempt. Scooped up by Reynoso. Now, if there is any member of the Savage that finds himself on top of the stat sheets, it would be Reynoso as far as goals against average, save percentage. He came in late, so wins isn't going to be on top.
We're going to have our first foul of the game. It's going to be holding, common foul, restart to the Kansas City Comets. It's going to be a brilliant set-piece opportunity to try and go ahead and get the first goal of the game, Philly.
And we've seen some brilliant set pieces from the Kansas City Comets. You'd have to go no further than 48 hours ago where Nacho Flores had a back heel Wallace scorer to Lucas Sousa for a heck of a goal. Talk to us about what a Wallace scorer is for the viewers that are tuning in for the first time.
If an assist goes off the boards, that is a Wallace scorer. So pass to wall to shooter and in on goal, that's your Wallace scorer. We have a foul called here in the low boards, going to be just inside the corner as a restart for Kansas City.
Yeah, and Hugo Puentes is going to be charged for the foul on Nacho Flores.
In fact, I believe all 4 Kansas City goals in Game 1 were scored on set pieces. These are massive, massive opportunities for the team in red from Kansas City.
And a goal for them to get things started would be massive as far as changing the momentum of this game. Again, if the Kansas City Comets win, that's going to force a knockout game. If Chihuahua wins, it's all over. Good defense on the set piece by the Savage. They do reclaim. Operating on the right side. Lucas Sousa is going to force Romero out in to Escalante. Rian Marquez nearly takes that ball away from Hernandez, and Neto scoops it up. Right on the line. That was close. We're looking down on the turf. It looks like Hernandez is still down. Carlos Hernandez, otherwise known as Popper.
While we have a moment, folks, MASLsoccer.com is your home for everything Major Arena Soccer League. All the latest news, leaderboards, highlights, and more.
Restart coming up. Looks like the Savage are going to press high. DeBray Holloman checking into the game. He's on the right side. Neto's going to launch it all the way to their target forward, Rian Marquez. Roberto Escalante boxing him out, preventing him from getting a good look. There's Escalante poking it out again.
Ball comes off the head of Berto into the bench. It'll be a restart for the Chihuahua Savage.
Berto Palmer coming back to Kansas City after spending a couple of years in Southern California's Inland Empire with the Empire Strikers. Berto happy to be back in Kansas City, where he was a prominent member at Park University. It looks like we're going to have another whistle down on the turf.
It's going to be a foul on Berto. Restart to the Chihuahua Savage just outside the cornered spot.
Keep your eyes out on Escalante. Escalante has a laser beam of a shot from well outside of the box. Also up top, Arturo Valle. Brian Macias wide open on the far post.
Kansas City line up with a staggered three-man wall.
Shot blocked by Andreos, and that's going to come out of play.
Wall does its job. That ball played out from the defensive end as a block. Will be a restart from where the ball exited play. Had that ball been played out intentionally, it would have been a top-of-the-arc restart for Chihuahua.
Eric Tovar on the restart for the Savage. Valle and Escalante over on opposite sides. Tovar from distance, that's going to bounce off Oregon into Escalante. And that shot goes into the netting. Goalkeeper distribution for Kansas City.
Escalante tried his best to get that ball to settle down so he could get a good shot in. Just had too much English on it, was spinning away from him. Couldn't get his foot proper through it and sent it high up into the netting.
Neto's going to start things off. The 6'4 Brazilian is in his fifth year at Kansas City. The all-time MASL leader in wins for the Comets. Love to go over his stats with you, but in the final game, none of those stats matter. What matters is what happens here today.
This game is puro corazón, my friend. Pure heart.
Quintana pressuring Marquez out to the midfield. Marquez is going to head it. Picked up by Reynoso. Vandergrift, former defender of the year. That ball gets taken away.
It's going to be a push called against Chad Vandergrift.
He goes by the nickname Cheese, and that's because he smiles an awful lot.
Whether he's smiling at the end of today's game, the next 4 quarters and change, perhaps, will be here to tell us.
About 4 minutes into today's game, no team with a threatening shot on target just yet. It's important to note that the Chihuahua Savage are going to be without last season's finals MVP, and that of Jorge Rios. But surprisingly, Kike Cañas, I'm looking over on him at the sideline. He won't be in today's game either, which is a big advantage for Kansas City, as those two are devastating players.
2 huge players to be out of the lineup, but as you alluded to earlier, Philly, so many players on this Savage team that can step up.
Poked away by Kansas City. Ramon Palmer sandwiched in the boards. He somehow gets away. Still sticking with it. A hand to the face.
Nacho Flores could not hear the whistle over the deafening roar of the fans here. It is going to be a foul against the Comets. Will be a restart in a very dangerous location for Chihuahua.
And that's going to be something the players are going to have to be well aware of. We hear a lot of drums, a lot of whistles, a lot of cheering. Not a very big arena, but 1,200 people confined in this space. With the type of reverb that we have, makes it sound massive. Adriano Nunez, the Brazilian, set to take the restart. Comets getting instructions from their keeper, Neto. Nunez shot, deflected by Debray Holloman. Holloman, the coach of legendary indoor player LeBaron Holloman. Shout out to the Holloman family, by the way. We know you're watching. Escalante being pressured by Zach Reggett. Reggett, the reigning Golden Boot leader in the Major Arena Soccer League, having scored 35 goals over the course of 24 games this season. And that's going to be a whistle against Ryan Marquez, much to his dismay, as Roberto Escalante goes down on the turf. Let's take a look at that replay again. Looks like he might have clipped his foot.
Common foul on Rion. No intent there. He's going for the ball all the way.
Escalante gets it back to Puentes. He goes down as Ray Lee takes it away. Ray Lee with a shot. Bounces off the plexi. Taken away by the Savage. Brandon Gonzalez had a clear run.
Yeah, Gonzalez just let that ball bleed a little too far in front of him. Unfortunately, we got another player down for Kansas City at the moment. It's a frenetic pace to this game, something to be expected in this arena. Corner Sports Arena, one of the smallest turfs in the Major Arena Soccer League. Every single position on this field, from goalkeeper all the way forward, is in a position to suit, certainly in a position to make an assist. Goalkeepers get goals and assists in this arena in an unprecedented level. It just adds to the frenetic energy of the game.
We've had quite a few bodies hitting the turf here in Corner Sport Arena. For the Comets, it was Nacho Flores. Down on the turf directly below us is Hugo Puentes. La Roca's being tended to by his trainer. Looks like he's spraying his ankle.
Sean Dumers, the athletic trainer. I'm sorry. That's Aaron Rivera, athletic trainer for the Chihuahua Savage. They're applying the magic spray. Little conversation here between both captains and our officiating crew. Get this game settled. Like to see a clean game.
Well, you're going to see two very competitive teams going at one another. Puentes has been one of the offensive stars on this Chihuahua Savage team throughout the course of the regular season and, of course, the playoffs.
Be sure to follow the MASL on all your social media. That's at MASL Soccer on Instagram and Facebook, and at MASL Arena on X.
Back to Hugo Puentes. In the 7 games that he's competed in the playoffs, he scored 8 goals, registered 4 assists with 12 points. Him and Roberto Escalante have the team lead as far as goals go.
Hugo Puentes, a goal scorer from game 1 of the finals as well, too. He scored the goal to tie the game late before Roberto Escalante, who was the star, 2 goals and an assist in game 1.
Puentes has been operating at a tremendous pace. 21 goals over the course of the regular season with 13 assists. Nacho Flores set to take things.
Hair under 10 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Ball comes straight in on keeper.
Sure, that would be an attempt that Nacho would want back. Battle on the boards, taken away. Deflects from Reget's boot right to Neto. Neto's going to try to find his team's leading scorer. Hernandez back over to Escalante. Eric Tovar slipped for a second. Deflected it. Macias, the captain of the side. Backheel pass saved by Neto.
Oh, Eric Tovar almost had the cheekiest of goals to get the game started.
No Neto for that shot. Pressure being applied by the Comets. The Savage break through that press. Shot by Lopez. Well off target.
That one missed the netting altogether, went straight into the customers. Hope everybody's okay over there. Ball's returned back into play, and we're ready for a corner as that took a deflection on the way out.
That's Brian Macias, the captain of this team, a member of last year's defending champion, Chihuahua Savage. Escalante shot, and Neto gets his hands on it. Paws it. I thought he was going to paw it over to Andreas, who, by the way, has among one of the best hairstyles in that of indoor soccer. Him along with Empire striker / Tacoma star Justin Stinson, by the way. Ball comes down into Reget. Reget being marked by Quintana, the former Dallas sidekick. Pushing Reget into the boards. Holloman into Berto Palmer. Palmer. And there's Reynoso. It's been tough for Reget to get clean looks. Another member of the Savage down on the turf, and that's Miguel Angel Diaz. Referee blows his whistle for a stoppage in play.
Looked like Diaz momentum carried him into Berto there, who came in with a strong challenge. We have a brief moment for him to regain his composure before we get going once again.
Miguel Angel Diaz from Juarez, Mexico, in his 2nd season in the Major Arena Soccer League.
Folks, if you look out there on this turf and think, hey, I could do that, well, that MASL Combine, your chance to become the next star of the Major Arena Soccer League, is headed to San Diego this year. And if you want to sign up, you can head on over to maslsoccer.com to find out more information on next year's Combine.
Yeah, the Combine last season in Utica was a great success. We saw a lot of tremendously talented players. I think of Empire Strikers Riley Urey, for example, as one of those players. And from what we've been told that what you mentioned, San Diego is going to be the spot. So, like Jonathan Reimer said, if you think you have what it takes to play in the top flight of indoor soccer, still plenty of time to sign up. I already heard that from Commissioner Keith Tozer, but there's been over 200 applicants thus far.
I believe that event, it might be the first major Arena Soccer League event at the brand new Front Wave Arena being built by the San Diego Sockers, moving from San Diego proper all the way up to Oceanside. Front Wave Arena due to open at the end of summer. It's going to be the first indoor soccer-specific stadium in the United States. A very, very, very cool thing.
Diaz gets held back up, walks back to his team's bench on his own accord, and we resume play. 8 minutes and 23 seconds to go here within this first quarter. No scored yet. Savage 0, Comets 0.
Diaz going down with an injury would be massive for Chihuahua. He had a goal in game one, 2 goals throughout the course of the playoffs prior to that. It's a big goal scorer, 15 on the regular season as well.
Reynoso.
That ball came off the hand as he tried to trap it in there. Well, unfortunately, Puentes will get whistled for the handball. It'll be Kansas City's ball, Berto over it.
Much to the dismay of Savage head coach Henoni Martinez, he did not like that call whatsoever. Ramon Palmer trying to take it away from Santiago Ramos. Bodies colliding left and right. Finally have a whistle down on the turf.
2 Palmers featuring for the Kansas City Comets, both from Kingston, Jamaica. No relation.
No relation at all. The one thing they have in common, though, is they're both highly talented. That's going to be another member of the Savage going down to the floor. That's Brandon Gonzalez, but he gets back up quickly. Escalante on the restart.
Henry Ramirez charged with the foul.
Should tell the listeners at home what the story is in terms of foul accumulation.
4 fouls in a half is going to be a blue card penalty. Your team will be down for 2 minutes. 6 fouls throughout the course of the game, and you are red carded and out.
Mad sprint to the ball. Vandergriff kicks it back to his keeper, Neto. Neto back over to Vandergriff. Goes off the wrong end of his foot. Savage recover. And it has been a frenetic pace. One of the smaller arenas in indoor soccer. Ball ping-pongs quite quickly. Cheeky backheel pass from Fuentes to Macias. Comets on the counter. They have an opportunity. Garza wide open.
Well, unfortunately, Leonardo Acosta just could not get the ball into him. Great defense there by Chihuahua.
And that was Jaime Alejandro Romero from Tijuana getting in front of that. Riyad Marquez gets muscled off of the ball by Puentes. Hernandez wide open to the left, shot deflected by Berto. Ray Lee kicks it up high. Macias recovers. Boots it back over to Reynoso. And while we were anticipating a high-scoring game so far, we're more than halfway through the first quarter. No goals yet. Shot attempt saved by Neto.
What a save. Sat on that one, kept it from finding its way back in. Nicolau Neto.
Denying Eric Tovar. Let's look at that replay again. Nearly went 5-hole, but Neto had the wherewithal to drop in on it. Shout out to our production staff, Mike Cepeda, for that instant replay. We're very cozy here together in the production booth. Sprint. Savage have it. Trying to thread in a shot. The Comets' defense has also been stifling to the Chihuahua Savage. They have not had any clean or clear looks on Neto, with the exception of the save that he made just a few seconds ago.
Folks, it looks like we are going to head to our first media timeout here with 5:35 left to play. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with the Ron Newman Cup Finals from Corner Sports Arena after this.
Back here in the deafening Corner Sport Arena. Both teams, Doc, prior to this season, not a lot of history. The first time the Comets and the Savage met was February 12th, 2022, a game in which the Chihuahua Savage beat the Comets by a score of 6-5. Brian Macias had himself a couple of goals. Carlos Hernandez, Hugo Puentes, who were still members of this team, were successful. Over the course of the regular season, it was the Savage that got the better of the Comets. But after that last loss that the Comets had at the hands of the Savage, they've been on a tear, finding their way into the postseason, have been playing at a high pace since then. Restart for the Comets, shot, and we have a goal! The Kansas City Comets strike first. Ray Lee threading the netting. Comets 1, Savage 0.
Beautiful restart there for the Kansas City Comets. Quick play wide to the right. And that is the first quarter goal Chihuahua has given up at home throughout the course of this playoffs. Exactly what Kansas City needs if they are going to go ahead and force us into a knockout game.
A huge goal for Ray Lee, the defenders in his 6th year with Kansas City. Having been a product of Sporting Kansas City's academy, played over at St. Louis University, was one of the all-time winningest NCAA Men's Division I programs. Then from there he got drafted by the Philadelphia Union. He gets the first goal of today's game.
That's the first points in this Ron Newman Cup playoffs for Ray Lee.
And it couldn't have come at a better time. A ambitious attempt by Lopez high into the netting, and that's going to be a goalkeeper restart for the Comets.
Not that Ray Lee isn't prone to find the back of the net. He did have 20 points, including 10 goals throughout the course of the regular season. A defender by trade, but of course defenders have to rack up goals and assists in this league.
And they certainly do, as do goalkeepers. Neto into his target forward, Marquez. He's gone by both names these past few seasons. Hernandez has it. Over to the right side. An opportunity for the Savage off the boards. Puentes. And Nacho Flores getting in Hugo Puentes' way, preventing a clean look for La Roca.
Puentes, normally one of the cleanest shooters in the game. He'd want that one back, I'm sure.
Poked away by Acosta. Leonardo Acosta. Take a bow, young man. The West Chicago, Illinois player has himself a goal. That is the second goal for Kansas City.
Leonardo Acosta finds the space, hammers the top right corner to double the lead for the Comets. They are up 2-0. That is his first goal and first points here in the Ron Newman Cup Finals. He does have 1 goal and an assist throughout the playoffs.
The 21-year-old rookie has etched his name, potentially, historically, depending on how today's game goes. Either way, you got to love that. A rookie coming up big. You have a veteran in the likes of Ray Lee getting the first goal, and then a rookie in the likes of Acosta. And now, sides up by 2-0, but as we know, as we witnessed during that Milwaukee Wave Kansas City Comets game, no lead is safe.
Rookie getting his 15th goal contribution this season. Sorry, his 16th, 14 in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs, 1 here in the finals.
Comets off to a tremendous start. And I don't want to say they've silenced the crowd here at Corner Sport Arena, but they haven't been as loud as they were when this game first got started.
Oh, just wait till they get their first goal. This place will erupt.
Palmer. Neto well out of position. Ramon Palmer headed out of play.
Brilliant opportunity there for Chihuahua. They had Neto out of goal. He spilled it. He's still down on the turf at this point, grabbing what appears to be his left elbow. Nicolau Neto, a massive, massive piece for this Kansas City Comets team. You got to hope he's ready to get back up and get going. As of yet, no trainer out on the field. Looks like Holloman is telling the trainer to stay on the field. Neto will be good to go here as soon as he catches his wind.
Neto's a big goalkeeper, standing at 6'4", 210 pounds. He is a competitive human being. He's not going to want to go down or come out for that matter.
Should he come out, though, no slouch behind him in Philip Ejimadu, former MLS player in his first season with the Comets. Formerly played at the Los Angeles Football Club, LAFC, in Los Angeles, California.
Neto back up. And that's been the play. Neto throwing the long ball, trying to find his target forwards. But it hasn't been successful finding Marquez or Reggett. The Savage have been savagely marking both target forwards. Flores facing some pressure from Adriano Nunez. Quite a few Brazilians in today's game, Doctor.
Almost all of them from the beautiful city of Sao Paulo.
Great futsal backgrounds for a lot of these young men, which translated relatively easy. Shot, kick saved by Neto. Just when you thought he went down with an elbow injury, he comes up with a save like that.
Kick save and a beauty.
3 minutes and 19 seconds to go here in this first quarter. The Comets maintain that 2-0 lead on the defending champs, the Chihuahua Savage.
Chihuahua had not given up a goal here at Corner Sports in the first quarter. All playoffs. Kansas City finding the back of the net twice. Shocking.
Reynoso boots it back to Neto.
Neto thought about trying to throw that one.
Now, for the viewers at home that are tuning in for the first time, if a goalkeeper throws it in to the net, is that a legal goal?
Yes, it is.
Vandergriff on the counter. Had too tough of a first touch. He gets his pocket picked, but Flores picks it back up. Savage recover.
Great job by Escalante Star at game one there in the corner to recover.
A big shot. Off target. Puentes has Nunez to the right of him. Shot off the board. Dash. Escalante kicks it back over to his keeper, Reynoso. Savage on the counter. A wide open Hernandez to the left. Hernandez trying to get by Palmer. Shot. And we got a goal. First goal of the game for Chihuahua. Savage coming by way of Miguel Angel Diaz. Doctor. What a goal.
What a goal. Fantastic strike. Miguel Angel Diaz picks up the ball just at the dot. Fires top right corner, and the Savage are right back in this one. It's 2-1. What did I say, Philly? The second that goal goes in, the decibels were going to climb, and there is no surprise there here. The home faithful exploding as the Savage find their first goal of the game.
And that volume has picked up. Diaz was a member of last season's championship team as a rookie, although he didn't get a lot of playing time during last season's run to the Ron Newman Cup. But he's etched his name in today's game, that's for sure.
Diaz, his second goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals, his fourth overall here in the playoffs.
Marquez moving defenders off of him. Shot saved! Not saved, shot scored by Rian Marquez. Tremendous goal, putting Quintana on ice skates, and the Kansas City Comets quickly pull back another goal, and they maintain that 2-goal lead. What a shot by Rian Marquez.
The goals are flying in here in the first quarter. Kansas City strike for the third time. Fantastic low corner strike. Beautiful, beautiful goal there.
The footwork by Marquez on Quintana. Quintana completely slipped. I believe in the playground, the kids say he broke his ankle. Obviously, that's figuratively speaking, but tremendous footwork.
For Rian Marquez, that is his second goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. His fifth of the playoffs.
Reggett in traffic, which has been his story for these past two games. Palmer kicked out of danger. Savage go on the run.
Ramon Palmer doing a great job to get back and cover after he gave up the ball.
Hernandez with a shot, saved by Neto. Another attempt, just misses to the right of the post. Santiago Ramos ever so close, the rookie who came on late this season, getting a significant amount of playing time with the likes of Cañas and Rios down due to injury. Macias with space. Macias with a shot right into the bread basket of Neto. 48 seconds to play here within this first quarter. Whistle on the turf. Quick restart to the Savage. Savage, another opportunity shot. Deflects off of Vandergriff. Berto has it. He's going to get pushed down by Macias.
That was a smart move there by the Savage to do the quick restart. A change was coming on for KC.
Marquez, muscling defenders. Gets his pocket picked by Macias. Macias might be skinny, but he certainly plays with a lot of muscle and heart.
There's a reason he is the captain of this team. He is a fierce competitor, one of the most respected players south of the border. Don't let his size fool you. Flaquito Macias is a force to be reckoned with.
Fourth year in the MASL, a member of Mexico's World Mini Football team, and obviously a champion, having been on last season's team. Quite a few members of the Chihuahua Savage stayed here, but a few more went over to Monterrey. And the Monterrey Flash were a team that were number one in the conference and in the league. Shot off of the net. The Flash had several members of the Chihuahua Savage, 24-0 over the course of the regular season, but they met their demise by way of the Milwaukee Wave, which was a big surprise. A lot of people were banking on the idea that it was going to be an all-Mexico Ron Newman Cup final, but the Eastern Conference had different ideas. 14 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Savage are going to have to hurry if they're going to look to get a shot off. Savage getting out of their defensive third of the turf. Vandergriff. Neto has it. Neto's going to let it rip. Back into Reynoso. And that concludes the first quarter of Game 2 in the Ron Newman Cup MASL Finals. The score after 15 minutes, Kansas City 3, Chihuahua 1.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to CBS Sports Golasso for the Ron Newman Cup Finals of the Major Arena Soccer League. We'll be back with the start of the second quarter in just a few.
One quarter in the books here at Corner Sport Arena. The Kansas City Comets off to a tremendous start, leading the Savage by a score of 3-1. They already have as many goals within the first quarter as they did over the course of the entire Game 1. If you're head coach Stefan Stokic, you got to be pretty pleased with your team's performance after 15 minutes.
Now, an uptick in scoring is something that is to be expected given the size of this arena. It's typically a very high-scoring affair when one is here. 4 goals per quarter is not unheard of, but typically that happens later in the game. Second halves in this arena have known to pile up the goals. Pretty surprising to see 4 goals in the first. Even more surprising to see 3 of those to the Comets after this place has been a fortress in the first quarter for Chihuahua throughout the playoffs.
The Comets haven't gotten off nearly as many shots as the Savage, but they have been very good at converting. 3 goals off of 7 shots. The Savage 1 goal off of 12, and a lot of that is due to the goalkeeping prowess once again by Nicolau Neto.
Put on a show, had the save of the game so far there in the first quarter. But a lot of game left to be played here in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Acosta trying to find Reggett. And any time that ball comes anywhere near Reggett, he's being pushed, he's being held, he's being, I don't want to say fouled because the officials haven't blown their whistle, but it's been hard for the Golden Boot leader of the MASL to get a clean look. And there's Nacho making another great defensive play. Holloman over to Neto. That ball gets through into Reggett. Over to Sousa. And he just missed Ramon Palmer, who would have had a couple of steps and a look at Reynoso. That ball comes out of play. Savage regained possession.
Short boards here in Corner Sports Arena. You have to adapt and adjust. That ball going just high over the boards. Took away a really good opportunity for Kansas City to try and find number 4.
Pass into Diaz. Diaz, the lone goal scorer for the Savage. Garza going to get whistled for it. Jacob Garza from Parkville, Missouri. Couple of new young players for the Kansas City Comets featured in this season's team, along with some tremendous veterans. And there's one right there, Marquez, but Reynoso has it.
Reynoso slipped firing that ball out. Still ended up finding his mark. Collision between Cheese and Jaime Alejandro Romero right there.
And by Cheese, he means Chad Vandergriff.
I was about to say, Chad Vandergriff called for the foul. I was going to elaborate on that, my friend.
While he may smile ear to ear consistently, he wasn't smiling there. Berto. Vandergriff is going to get whistled for the push on Puentes, and he's going to have to be careful. Puentes sandwiched in between 2 MASL defenders of the year. Gets himself back up. Restart for Chihuahua. Quick dialogue between Hernandez and the Romero. Shot. Deflects.
Looked like Henry Ramirez, the Costa Mesa boy from Southern California, my neck of the woods, gets a foot in on that one. Leads it up into the netting.
Comets are going to look to get their restart going with Neto.
Oh, forgive me, I thought that was going to be Chihuahua ball. I thought that went off Kansas City last. Must have taken a second deflection.
Looked like it for a second. Neto's going to launch it over to Ray Lee. Ray Lee, who got things going for the Comets. Comets pressuring. Savage up high. Brilliant header and an open look. And there's Neto. Neto doing a tremendous goalkeeping maneuver where he absolutely shellacked Angel Castro.
And Neto is down in goal again. He is clutching his back. Officials have brought a stop to play so that he can be attended to. They'll allow a quick line change for both teams to get some fresh legs here out on the turf at Corner Sports Arena.
Yeah, second time Neto has gone down. First time it was his elbow. This time it's his lower back.
Folks, catch MASL Monday every Monday night on Twitch. Host Alex Bostuvansky and Phil Levanko are joined each week by special guests from across the league to recap the weekend's game and discuss the league's hot topics. Catch MASL Monday every Monday night on Twitch.
One of my favorite shows. The chemistry between Bostuvansky and Levanko has been successful all season long, and it's fun listening to Hey Yo Phil get into things. I miss my brother from Queens, New York. And speaking of shows, let's talk about the most controversial show that the Major Arena Soccer League has.
Oh, of course. That is, Under Review. That is every Friday on Twitch, where all of the controversial goalkeeping decisions of the week are broken down. Great show every Friday on Twitch. Foul here in the low boards on the corner against the Chihuahua Savage. It will be Kansas City ball playing out of their own defensive end.
And shout out to Ryan Sigich, who is one of the hosts of that show. We know that he's watching at home. Hello, Ryan. Hope life is treating you well.
Ryan Sigich, the head of officiating, was present for Game 1. Could not make the trip south of the border here for Game 2.
Holloman nearly taking it away. Flores. Lennis has it over into Neto. Savage threatening in their offensive end of the turf. Whistle down on the turf. Is it going to be against Nacho Flores? He couldn't hear the whistle as he was off to the races. Part of the disadvantage of playing at Corner Sport Arena, sometimes it's just hard to hear that official's whistle. Crowd really getting into it, trying to will their Savage team back into this game.
Lots of time left, still 12:24 left to play in the first half.
Castro wide open, has his shot, just misses. Flores tried to kick that out of danger, but Arturo Valle was in the right place at the right time. Ball goes in Adriano. Nunez back over to Valle. And there's Lee, who spins Nunez. Slows things down, back over to Berto Palmer. Palmer into Andreas. He goes by the nickname the Tasmanian Devil, the hero in the game against the Milwaukee Wave, where he had himself a hat trick. And Reggett tried to find Andreas, but Diego Reynoso, as he's done time and time again, was there to thwart that effort. Flores into Holloman. Holloman to Neto. Macias offered some pressure. It's Macias and Neto. Neto paused it out of play. Not out of play, but out of their end.
Fantastic stretch and a save there by Nicolau Neto. In the immortal words of Kansas City Comets color commentator Eric Bergrud,
goalkeeping. Hernandez slides it over to Valle. Ramon Palmer trying to take it away from Diaz. Palmer going to be whistled for the foul. Quick restart for the Savage. Probably a little too quick. And a dialogue between Quintana and the official.
You can see the Chihuahua Savage asking for a delay of game there against Ramon Palmer. Looks like it is just going to be a common foul. Fernando Pena, our assistant referee, explaining the situation.
And it's Marquez and Quintana, but it looks like the restart's going to come back. Savage have the ball with Quintana getting ready to get things going. Over onto the left side. Palmer in front of the official.
It's going to be a handball called against Chihuahua. Kansas City ball just outside a Chihuahua corner spot.
Lopez trying to affect Berto's pass. Acosta, the rookie, having some fancy footwork being displayed. That's going to come out of play.
And that being intentionally played out of their own defensive zone will result in a top-of-the-arc restart. The ball is deflected out of bounds for your defense. it simply is played back in from where it goes out. But if you intentionally played that ball out of bounds, it awards the other team a brilliant set-piece opportunity in a top-of-the-arc restart.
Dangerous position. Savage have been very good at converting from this type of scenario. Hernandez wide open to the right. Nunez waiting for the official to blow his whistle. Over to Hernandez. And there's the captain, Nacho Flores again.
Throwing his body to the turf there is the captain.
He's going to have some massive carpet burn after tonight's over. Brilliant use of the boards. Hernandez into Nunez. Crowd wanting a foul. No whistle being blown. Neto sees Acosta wide open. Savage track back. Acosta over into the captain. Flores. That gets redirected by the Savage. Gonzalez tries to slide it through. Just to the right of the post. Lee now. Into Reggett. Reggett kicking into traffic.
Anytime Zach Reggett comes close to firing up a shot, the double team is on him instantly. The pressure being applied to Zach Reggett, keeping him completely off the scorecard throughout this Ron Newman Cup Finals.
Can't keep the kid from Kenosha down for too long, though. One would say he's more than likely due. Valle, pressured by Garza. Back over to Ramos. And Berto's going to let that one slide through into Neto. 9:23 left to go here within the first half. Score still remains 3-1 in favor of Kansas City.
Rian Marquez going to get called for the common foul there. Will be Chihuahua ball just outside the box.
And he doesn't like it, but he's not going to win his debate against the official. Quintana, Lee, over to Reynoso. The pace has been electric here at Corner Sport Arena. We're barely a quarter and a half through. I don't know if I'm just excited to be calling this game or whether the atmosphere is hot. One way or another, this jacket is coming off.
It is warm here. It was approaching 100 degrees here in Chihuahua this afternoon.
Was it?
It was.
That ball's going to come out of play.
Reynoso trying to fire that ball in off the low boards.
Reynoso came on to the Savage late in the season, and since he's been a part of this side, he has just been a concrete wall for the Savage. Reynoso, former member of the Monterey Flash.
Having a little trouble getting our game ball back into play here. Some of the customers thought they got themselves a souvenir.
No.
Not the case.
No, definitely not like baseball. You can't take a ball out of play home. Shout out to game ball sponsor Kendis, by the way.
Well, from one keeper playing it into the net, the next keeper plays it out over the wall. Will be Chihuahua ball.
Ball comes into the Brazilian Nunez. Nunez into Valle. Savage trying to get cute with the passes off the wall, but the Comets have been really good at coming through and getting in the front of those passes. Down low into Tovar. Eric Tovar spent a couple of seasons with the San Diego Sockers. Lordsa Indoor fell to the Chihuahua Savage for the second straight year. Shot saved by Neto, denying Brian Macias. Flaquito, as they call him down here, into Nunez. And he toe pokes it back to Neto. Savage intercept. Not a lot of shots have occurred here within the second quarter, and there's another one off target. And that's going to take us to the media timeout.
Folks, as we head out, we'd like to remind you that to get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams by following MASL Soccer on Facebook, Instagram, MASL Arena on Twitter. We will be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Corner Sports Arena in beautiful Chihuahua, Mexico for Game 2 of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. Kansas City Comets currently holding a 3-1 lead over the Chihuahua Savage. 7:33 here left to play in the first half. 2-goal difference, but one of the most precarious leads in indoor. A scoreline that is sure to change, my friend.
I mean, we saw 8-1 being a precarious lead in indoor, and that's the beauty of this sport is no lead is safe, regardless of where you are in the game. 3-1 very much is anybody's ball game, and as we saw, 8-1 is as well. What was expected to be a pretty high-scoring game is so far kept below 5 here with a quarter and a change having already been registered in the books. There we take a look at head coach of the Kansas City Comets, Stefan Stokic. Having a dialogue with the officials. Just waiting to see what's going on and why we haven't resumed play. 7:33 left to go here in this second quarter. So, from what we've been told, they're just getting confirmations on the foul count.
As a reminder, 4 fouls in a half will result in a blue card 2-minute penalty. 6 fouls in a game, and you are off to the locker room.
So Neto pleading his case with the official. While we're waiting, hopefully everybody at home or wherever you are enjoying today's game. It's been very exciting. As it stands, if the Kansas City Comets can win this game, we've got a knockout game 10 minutes at the conclusion of this one. If Chihuahua manages to win, then that's all she wrote, and they are back-to-back Ron Newman Cup champions. First team to do so since the San Diego Sockers, which really wasn't that long ago.
And what happens, Philly, if we are tied at the end of 4 quarters?
Well, why don't you tell us? You're the man who reads the rule book and knows it cover to cover.
We go into golden goal overtime. So if we are tied at the end of 4 quarters, we will play until someone finds a goal. No shootouts tonight, folks. No matter how long the score stays tied, we play on until we have a natural goal and a winner.
And that was the case in the Western Conference Finals between the Chihuahua Savage and the San Diego Sockers. The game that went into what, triple overtime?
Triple overtime.
San Diego won that game. Then we had the knockout game, and I mean, a lot of energy was spended onto the turf at Pechanga Arena. And that's what propelled the Savage into this scenario right here. They won 48 hours ago by a score of 4-3, a very close game. And that's something between the Comets and the Savage that we've seen, especially late in the season, is that the Savage and the Comets have played some very, very competitive matches. It wasn't like the very first game of the season where Chihuahua won 8-2. It was 3-2 last time, 4-3, 48 hours ago, and still a close one here in Corner Sport Arena.
Indeed, that 3-2 game was settled in overtime.
Neto trying to find Rega. Quintana gets in the way. Lee has it. Facing pressure. Kicks it out. Regan has it. It's Regan and Quintana. Too tough of a touch. Berto now has it, but nobody to go to. Comets pulling back on that pressure. Ping pong effort. Savage having a tough time getting out of their end of the turf. Credit the Kansas City Comets defense for really holding it down. And Holloman boots it back over to Neto. Neto, the hero thus far between the two keepers, as he has faced the lion's share of shots. Taken away by the Tasmanian Devil, Andreos. Toe pokes it in to Reynoso.
A speculative effort from that range, but
you gotta like the hustle.
Anywhere on this turf is a scoring distance. We have seen goals scored from the defensive end in this arena many times before, my friend.
I mean, we've seen goalkeepers throw it into the back of the net. I think this is our 4th time here calling a game at Corner Sport Arena. Love coming down here. The people of Chihuahua have always been friendly and accepting, warm and welcoming. Not to mention the food has been awesome. Foul down on the turf. Ramirez, the culprit on that. 6 to go here within the second quarter. Score remains the same. Kansas City 3, Chihuahua 1. In to Puentes. Puentes with the much taller Holloman on him. Something came into the box. Not exactly sure what's in there. That's going to be a foul against the Savages. Lucas Souza, who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time today, goes down.
Looks like a piece of the padding off the side of the goal came loose when they were jostling there against the low boards. Our head of officiating tonight keyed upon to make sure that that one is back in and ready to go. We are good to resume play.
He has coached many a final game. Shout out to the officials of the Major Arena Soccer League. Our buddy Drew Klemp, newcomer ref of the year. Congratulations, Drew. Souza. That's going to come over to Puentes. Puentes somehow sticks with it. Gets it over to Nunez.
They don't call him the Rock for nothing.
I mean, you can tell. I mean, he's certainly built out of it. Cut from stone. Nunez back on top. Getting by Lennis. Getting by Souza. And that's going to be a whistle. Savage are going to maintain possession here with 5:05 left in the second quarter. Nunez from Sao Paulo, Brazil, dual citizenship between Brazil and Mexico, third year in the MASL. A member of the Monterey Flash, the Dallas Sidekicks, and of course now with the Chihuahua Savage. Nunez lets it go. Blocked by Acosta. Acosta strips it. He now has it. Pushed off the ball by Macias. And the man they call Flaquito is going to get whistled for the foul, the captain of the Chihuahua Savage.
4:54 left to play here in the first half. Kansas City Comets still holding a shocking 3-1 lead.
Quintana. Reggett has it with a look. Has a little too much mustard on it.
Actually, it looks like it might have gotten pulled out from behind Reggett there as that one goes up. Folks, just a reminder that MASL Combine is coming to San Diego this year. Head to maslsoccer.com to sign up.
Corner kick restart for the Comets. Berto looking to find his captain, Nacho Flores.
A foul there called against Nacho Flores, and he is irate, feeling as though he did not make enough contact to warrant the common foul.
Savage restart. Macias into Quintana. Christian Quintana over to Reynoso. Into Tovar. Brilliant pass into Macias. Flacco with a shot, but Acosta's there to deny him. Reggett. The Kenosha kid. Into Flores. Dangerous pass. Hernandez. Put Flores on his toes. And Santiago Ramos goes down. Comets on a counter. Acosta trying to get by Tovar. He does, but there's Reynoso to poke it out of danger. Holloman back into Acosta. Hernandez now heads it to Quintana. Quintana going to let Reynoso settle upon it.
End-to-end action here. Opportunities at both sides. Still no scoring in the second quarter.
Valle calling for it towards the mid-turf. I want to say field, but it's not a field. It's turf. Ramos. Valle. Being pressured by Souza. And that's into no one. And Lee going to box out. Savage player Neto has it. And it looks like we've got a timeout called by Nicolau Neto with 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go here within the second quarter.
Folks, with that timeout, we are going to keep it here. We appreciate everybody watching the Ron Newman Cup Finals here on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Philly has 4 goals in that first quarter, and yet here we are almost to the end of the second quarter and no scoring despite a flurry of opportunities of late.
If the laws of averages stay true, the Comets throughout the playoffs have averaged 5.6 goals for. The Savage, 5.7 goals for. So as it stands right now, both teams on track to hit that mark. Would be very curious to know what the over and under is on this game, but I have no clue. Do you?
No, sir. I will say that it has been a goalkeeping performance here in the second quarter. Both Diego Reynoso and Nicolau Neto coming up with massive saves. A huge toe poke from Reynoso there just a few sequences ago caused that ball that was heading goalward to get poked away. It's been a great performance on both ends of the ball by both keepers.
Yeah, both teams relatively even with shots, with the Savage maintaining the edge 6-5 throughout the course of the game. Chihuahua has 18 shots to Kansas City's 12, but Kansas City has been far more efficient with their attempts and have been converting at a much better rates. But still plenty of time to go.
Both teams back out on the field. Looks like we're ready to get play back underway. Tiadapana about to place the ball and allow Nicolau Neto to play out of the end.
Neto waiting for the official to hand him back the ball. See a luchador behind Neto. Love the luchador masks. Multiple bodies went up for that one.
Huge punch by Reynoso to get that one all the way out past the halfway line. As that entrance pass from Nacho gets deflected up and out of play.
Knocked out of boundaries by Romero. Palmer, the reigning defender of the year, tries to find his teammate Reggett. Several members of the Comets receiving accolades here in the Major Arena Soccer League. And that ball comes right into my hands. So I've gotten myself involved in today's game. Let me throw that over to the official. There you go. It's nice to know that my reflexes are good.
Good thing you were paying attention, Philly. I was checking my replay monitor and notes, almost took one off the dome piece. You're getting the save of the match, in my opinion, sir.
Oh, heck yeah. Nacho Flores on the restart. Nacho with a shot right into the blockade. Flores mistimed that one. Valle over to the left. Nunez. The Brazilian's gotten a significant amount of minutes today. One of the veterans of this Savage team. Veteran by way of his tenure and time within the Major Arena Soccer League. Over into Puentes, the team's leading scorer. Shot saved by Neto. I've said that multiple times today, Jonathan Reimer. Diaz into Souza.
Neto just doing a great job of making himself big, keeping the arms to the side of the body. That one deflected off the left palm and out. Great save by Nicolau Neto.
Reggett kicks it over. Intercepted by Romero. Acosta now has it. Acosta didn't have anybody with him as Berto was well ahead of Acosta's pass. Back into Hernandez. Carlos Popper Hernandez. Intercepted. Back over to Chihuahua. Less than 90 seconds to go within this second quarter. Whistle down on the turf. Savage fans are erupting, wanting to see that tarjeta azul, that blue card. No blue cards in sight.
Foul is going to be awarded just outside the corner of the box. Berto will be the one who goes into the book for the foul. No blue card. We remain at even strength. We have yet to see a power play here in the first half.
Hernandez having a quick conversation with Puentes. Restart for the Savage. Can they get another goal off before the half ends? And Chihuahua going to call for a timeout, so head coach Henoni Martinez is going to draw something up for his Chihuahua Savage team as they are a minute and 21 from heading back into the locker, down by a score of 3-1 to the Kansas City Comets.
Really shocking we haven't seen a goal here in the second quarter so far, especially given the fact we saw so many goals in that first quarter. Folks, once again, remind you to sign up at maslsoccer.com because the MASL Combine is coming to sunny San Diego. Your opportunity to be signed by one of the leagues here in the MASL. Your chance to suit up for one of these teams. It is deafening here during timeouts in Corner Sports Arena. Hard to hear oneself think over the loud crowd we have here tonight. It's a beautiful atmosphere, my friend.
What did you say? I can't hear you. I'm just kidding. That's right. The 2024 MASL Pro Player Combine in San Diego, California. That gives you and I an opportunity to go out there and be in attendance to watch perhaps the next star of the Major Arena Soccer League.
Perhaps the next star is listening to us right now, and here is your opportunity to head on over. MASL in 5 coming at the halftime, our recap show. We also have a great interview with Christian Philemon and the commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, Keith Tozier. All of that to look forward to at halftime, folks, so stay tuned so you get to the end of the second quarter for all that coming up at halftime.
Christian Philemon, I don't think I've heard my entire name said like that since I got detention in high school. I've been going by the name Philly for a long time. The only person who I don't allow to call me Philly is my wife Amanda, because that would just be weird. Restart for Chihuahua. Again, 1:21 left to go. Looks like it's going to be Puentes on the restart. Never mind, Hernandez. Popper with a pass on up top. Shot just misses to the right. Another attempt into the netting.
I took a deflection off Kansas City on the way, and that's going to be a corner. Oh, looks like Neto thought he was going to be playing it out from his own end. Our referee comes in and fetches the game ball and moves it to the corner spot.
Yep, corner kick restart for the Chihuahuense. I was about to say, I'm not quite sure who's going to take it. It's Hernandez. Shot! And that deflects off the quadricep of Neto. It was Santiago Ramos who made an attempt. The rookie from Gomez Palacio, Mexico. Comets applying pressure. That's Reggett on Hernandez. Puentes and Berto. Palmer going to get whistled for a foul. Not happy about that. Under 60 seconds to go within the second quarter. Savage desperately trying to claw another goal back. And that takes an awkward bounce. Flores heads it, and that just takes a bounce into the Comets bench. Restart for the Savage. Puentes has it.
He's got Popper behind him. He chooses to run over it.
Santiago Ramos wide open. He's been itching for a clean look at goal. Quintana also wide open. Quintana's got the look. Quintana with a shot. Christian Quintana, former member of the Dallas Sidekicks, draws another one back for the Chihuahua Savage. The score now 3-2.
We see a beautiful set piece here. Just rolls the ball right out top of the box. Neto screened off the shot. Does not see it coming in until too late. And just like that, the Chihuahua Savage, with less than a minute left to go in the first half, have clawed their way back to within one. It's 3-2 here at Corner Sports Arena.
Quintana with the laser beam. 3-2, 47 seconds to go before both teams head back into the locker. With the amount of shots that the Savage have had, it was only a matter of time before they would find their way, threading the netting. And it is Christian Quintana who gets it done. Macias. Berto. Savage on the run. That's Tovar. Poked away.
30 seconds left.
32 to be precise. Line change for the Savage. And that ball's going to get carried into the offensive end for the Savage.
Looks like Kansas City getting called for a three-line pass here.
Hernandez.
Restart from their line.
To the right, Nunez. Booted out by Lee. Reynoso now. Nunez. And Neto has it. 20 seconds to go. Neto lets it rip, trying to find Andreyos, but Ramos is there with the header. Puentes. La Roca with a shot high into the netting. Had a lot of mustard behind it, but not a lot of direction. 10 seconds left to go here in the first half. Neto to Reynoso. We've said that once or twice today. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. A long ball in. Neto has it, and that concludes the second quarter here in Corner Sport Arena. Thanks to a goal by Christian Quintana. The Savage are only down by 1 right now. The Comets 3, Chihuahua Savage 2.
Chihuahua Savage goal scorers Miguel Angel Diaz and Christian Quintana. For the Kansas City Comets, Ray Lee, Leonardo Acosta, and Rian Marquez. 3-2 going in to the half.
It's been a fun one so far here in Corner Sport Arena.
Folks, you've watched the first half here of the MASL Ron Newman Cup Finals here on CBS Sports Golasso. Back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Corner Sport Arena. As you can see, we are living the sweet life in the suites just above the turf. My name is Christian Filliman, otherwise known as Philly, and joining me during a big event, when you have a big event, you have to have a big guest. And we have the commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, an individual who has faced a sheer amount of success outdoor as a player, indoor as a player, as well as a coach. Former head coach of the United States men's national futsal team and the all-time winningest coach in indoor soccer history. Folks, we have Commissioner Keith Tozer. Keith, welcome and thank you for spending this halftime with me.
Philly has been great. So what a wonderful season, and culminating with the championship. Should be a fun night tonight.
Absolutely fun night. I mentioned the accolades and the different avenues of this beautiful sport called soccer that we all know and love. You've done the outdoor, you've done the indoor, you've done the futsal. But what is it about indoor soccer that captivates you, and why is it the sport for the average spectator?
Well, let's first talk about it as a player. When you're a player and you're playing outdoor soccer, which we all like and love, but you're about 110 yards from the goal. So in indoor soccer, 200 feet maybe, 85 feet in width. As a defender, you can get in the attack. Goal scorers, you can score. And goalkeepers is great for it. So indoor soccer is a wonderful sport, high octane, high scoring. That's the reason why I fell in love with the sport a long time ago.
We love it. We've seen some tremendous games throughout the course of the playoffs, and we're going to talk about that later. Now, Coach, and I'm going to call you Coach because you are a coach and commissioner, the couple of titles I know that you know and love. Now, this sport right here and this league has grown leaps and bounds. Talk to us a little bit about what you think of this year in 2024-23 for the Major Arena Soccer League, and what do we have to look forward to going down the road?
Well, I think we felt that it's a tremendous season this year. The level of play has really increased dramatically. We have wonderful players. I mean, of course, Marco Fabian came to the Empire Strikers. You got Zach Reggett in Kansas City playing tonight. You have Ian Bennett and Marcia Leite in Milwaukee, and numerous players and great coaching. And when you put great coaching with great players and great arenas and great ownership, then you have a great game. And we really felt that as the season went on, crowds picked up, especially after the new year. And then all of a sudden, CBS said, hey, why don't we put the great game of in the playoffs on the Galasso? And here we are.
You mentioned Marco Fabian. Marco Fabian has had a tremendous impact on the Major Arena Soccer League. If you look at the history of the sport in the United States, Pele had the first big impact, David Beckham next, and then Lionel Messi taking the MLS to the stratosphere. And in indoor, we've had the likes of Landon Donovan, Jermaine Jones, and now Marco Fabian. Talk to us about the impact that Marco's had, not only on the turf, but off the turf.
Yeah, off the turf. I mean, what a great guy. Great smile. Will sign every autograph. Will do appearances. Every city he goes to, he really embraces the crowd. And then go onto the field. What a great goal scorer. I mean, he did it in outdoor soccer. He came inside. He led the league along with Zach in goal scoring. And he did it great. He's one of the best finishers that I've seen. Maybe like Hector Marinero. Maybe like a Preki. But Marco really came on. You put his personality with his ability. You got a game winner. And I really think, and we all think, that it's going to open the door for many maybe international stars to come. And with international stars come sponsors, come new ownership, and, of course, the great new fans that he's brought along with him.
Of course, Marco Fabian is just the tip of the iceberg to the major things that'll happen within this beautiful league of the MASL. Now, we talked about Marco Fabian, an established player in the outdoor game, now finding his rankings within the indoor game. But we've had a lot of young players that have come through this season that have been very successful, and a lot of that is attributed to something that you created, the MASL Combine. Talk to us a little bit about that and when that could be, when that's going to happen.
Well, one of the first things that we talked about, JP Delacamera, of course, Shep Messing, myself, when we came back into MASL, is as a league office, we have a responsibility to get the word out amongst young players in our country and around the world what a great sport this is. So we figured that if we started a player combine, which all the other sports have, is that we can identify some great players for the indoor game. It was 2 years ago. Right now we already have 200 players that have already emailed us about coming to the one in San Diego. We have players already playing from the player combine, and of course we added the college draft. So it's really, really been successful in a short period of time.
It has been successful. We've seen some tremendous talent all throughout the season. We're going to see some tremendous talent on the turf as well. Now, Commissioner, the playoffs themselves have been very exciting. Great games between Milwaukee and Kansas City, Chihuahua and San Diego. The playoff atmosphere has been amazing. The attendance has been great. Packed house at Cable Dahmer Arena in Game 1. We're expecting a sellout capacity crowd here at Corner Sport Arena for Game 2. Talk to us about your thoughts on the environment that the MASL has created here in the postseason.
Well, I really think the buildup from the quarterfinals to the semifinals and now to the finals has been incredible. I mean, if you go to, the Kansas City game with Milwaukee down, 6-0, score 7 straight goals on the 6th attacker, which I don't think I've ever witnessed before, was compelling. To go to the game in Kansas City with Chihuahua, being down 3-1 at halftime and coming back, scoring some great restart goals. There's a PK, great goalkeeping by both Neto and Reynosa on either side. And I really think, that's the thing about the playoffs, right? Players play at a different level. Coaches find a different level to get their players motivated. And you saw that in Kansas City, and you're surely going to see that tonight down here in Chihuahua.
Commissioner, I know you're a busy individual coming down here, spending time with us. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to ask you if you have any final thoughts that you would like to let the listeners at home know.
Well, I talked to all the fans that we know go across the entire league. We want to thank them for their support, all the sponsors we had this year, and all the new fans that are coming to the sport. This being broadcasted live down and with Canal and, of course, on CBS Sports Colasso. So to all the new fans, wherever you live, make sure you go out and support your team next season. But it's been a fantastic year, and we're very proud of where we're heading.
Commissioner, I just want to personally thank you for the time. It's an honor and a privilege to hang out with you, as always. And, folks, you heard it from the man himself, Commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, Keith Tozer. We're going to be back in just a moment for some more action.
Shoot! He
What's going on, everybody? This is the MASL in 5. I'm Alex Bastiavansky. It is great to see you again. I'm here to get you caught up on everything that's gone down in the league over the past week, and I've only got 5 minutes to do it, so let's go.
Por ahí le puede ganar la velocidad al cuadro salvaje. El balón de Adriano, Miquel Díaz.
It was a rematch of last year's Western Conference Final as San Diego and Chihuahua hooked up. Game 1 went in Mexico, and Hugo Puentes had a monster game for the home team. Hugo with 4 goals and 1 assist, 5 points for the Savage superstar. Chihuahua was all over the Sockers as they took the contest 13-7, and tensions were riding high between the two bitter rivals. So it was back to San Diego for Game 2, which went to triple overtime, the longest playoff game in MASL history, until finally Gabriel Costa did this.
Costa.
Costa forcing the knockout game with that tally, but in the deciding contest, Chihuahua just proved to be a bit too much. They win it 2-1, and the defending champs return to the Ron Newman Cup final. For the Sockers, it was their final game at Pechanga Arena before they move on to their new digs next season. What a glorious time they had at that arena, though. All those championships. The second semifinal did not lack drama either. Kansas City in Milwaukee for Game 1. It was back and forth between old school rivals. Milwaukee led 4-3 going into the fourth quarter, but then KC evened it, and Zach Reggett provided the dagger with just 27 seconds left on the clock. Kansas City took Game 1. So it was back to KC for Game 2, and for the longest time, the Comets were cruising. They were up 6-0 in the fourth. Fans were booking their plane tickets to Chihuahua. But then, insanity. Milwaukee reeled off 6 straight goals with the extra attacker to tie it, stunning the home crowd, and then with just a $1:08 left on the clock, this happens.
To Hain. Now Carvalho runs up on it, hits it, shot, goal! The Wave have come all the way back, and they lead 7-6.
It looked like a disaster for KC, but Berto Palmer came through for the Reds with just 37 seconds left on the clock. Unbelievable, the swings in this game. It needed overtime.
Carvalho. Oh, giveaway. Here's Andreos. Can Andreos make something of this? Here's Andreos shooting, and he scores! The Comets are going to the Ron Newman Cup final. Andreos is the hero. Comets win.
Christian Andreos with the golden goal for KC, the man with the best haircut in the league. He joined us post-game to discuss how the Comets pulled out the victory.
We have a bunch of dogs out there, and we always, I got to tell you that we always believe we work hard for these moments. But I will say, this is a sport where things can change super quickly, and that's the beauty of indoor soccer. We were up by 5-6 goals, and then out of nowhere, we were down a goal in a quarter. It's a games of ups and downs, and we were able to really, keep ourselves accountable towards the end, but we got to work towards not letting this happen. So I would say that that's our main focus now.
That sets up what should be an incredible championship final between two teams that are peaking at just the right time. Tail of the tape, just 3 points separated these teams during the regular season. Chihuahua, much better goal differential, however. The teams faced each other twice during the regular season. Here was the end of Game 2.
They kick it long. Neto retreats back into his box. Here comes Fuentes, out wide to the right. Brandon shoots, and Gonzalez scores, and just like that, it is over. Chihuahua scores in the first seconds of overtime.
So that was the second game between the teams back on February 15th that the Savage won in OT, which was a tight, hard-fought contest every step of the way, as opposed to the first time the teams met on January 19th in Chihuahua when the Savage spanked the Comets 8-2 at Corner Sport Arena. But the slate is wiped clean in the postseason. Both games will be broadcast on CBS Sports Golazzo Network. So if you can't be there in person, make sure you tune in Two tremendous teams facing off. Will Chihuahua repeat, or will the MASL have a new champion? Can't wait to find out. And that is going to wrap up this week's show. But just a reminder to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the MASL all throughout the season. Be sure to check out the league's official social media outlets. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Welcome back to Corner Sports Arena in Chihuahua, Mexico for the start of the second half of Game 2 of the Ron Newman Cup Finals here in the Major Arena Soccer League. Right now the Kansas City Comets currently hold the lead at 3-2. Back with your play-by-play, Christian Philly Philemon.
Thank you, Jonathan Reimer. The Chihuahua Savage had 22 shots within the first half. The Kansas City Comets, 13. Nicolau Neto, the busier of the two keepers. He has had a masterful performance, but as had Diego Reynoso. And as both teams were getting ready to start the third quarter, a nice display of sportsmanship as Neto and Reynoso both high-fived each other. Both keepers are keeping their teams very much involved in today's game.
Folks, your stats for the halftime there. You see the score at 3-1. Savage out shooting the Comets 22-13. Saves going in the way of Reynoso over Neto at 10-6.
It's not a matter of how many shots you have. It matters how many shots you score. And so far, it's been Kansas City. Berto got the wrong end of the foot on that one as Valle tries to get it past Lee. Berto over into the corner, and that's Escalante boxing out Reggett as Reynoso lets it go. Puentes. That's Souza, who heads it back to his keeper, Neto. I'm nervous. I don't know about you. Are you nervous, Mr. Reimer? Shot and a goal! The Kansas City Comets capitalize on a savage mistake. Ramon Palmer finding the back of the net. Is it 4-2? It is. Ramon doubling up the Comets lead.
Ramon Palmer with his first goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals as that ball spills itself out into the middle of the box. He tucks it home, top bins.
11th year with Kansas City. Had a short stint, 2018 with Tacoma. Proud Pirate from Park University. And much to the surprise of the Corner Sport Arena faithful, their team is down. That's something that doesn't happen very often here in this facility.
Foul on Berto as he's clutching his lower back coming out of the low boards there. With the Comets leading 4-2, just want to remind you folks, if the Comets are to win here in Game 2, we will have a 10-minute break before we go into a knockout game that will decide the Ron Newman Cup winner. Should the Savage come back and win this game, it will be all over, and they will be back-to-back champs.
Nerve-wracking shot by Berto. High. That's going to be a goalkeeper restart for Reynoso. I would love to know how the people at the watch party at Paul and Jack's Tavern are feeling. Folks, your team is up. I imagine you're nervous, but I'd love to be a fly on the wall witnessing that atmosphere right now.
Hopefully they're having a frosty one for us. You folks are enjoying the game here. So shouts to everyone back in Missouri.
I got a message from Brian Roth of the Kansas City Comets. He sent me a couple photos. It's a packed house. Love to know that there's watch parties going on in the Major Arena Soccer League. Let's grow this league as much as we can. This is the greatest show on turf. Nacho Flores on the restart. He's got Tovar trying to make him redirect his pass over the head of Rian Marquez. But it looks like Rian's going to get charged with a foul.
It's going to be a three-line pass, actually. He was unable to get on the right side of the offensive line there. It will be a top-of-the-line restart here for the Savage. The entry line to their offensive zone.
Appreciate that. I thought he made contact with Escalante, which is why I was under the impression the whistle got blown.
You got to be careful in this arena. Those midfield lines are much closer.
Nunez shot. Tovar tripped up on it. Nunez now has it. Tovar in the midfield with Marquez all over him. Threads it into Escalante. Vandergriff tried to make the play. Ball gets lobbed up high. Nunez. Marquez tracks back. Shot. Adriano Nunez finding the back of the net. Chihuahua Savage now have 3 goals. Kansas City 4. What a goal from Adriano Nunez.
Contested ball at the midfield, comes into the corner there, and right from the elbow, firing home for their 3rd goal of the night is Adriano Nunez. That is his first goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals, his 2nd playoff goal.
The Sao Paulo sensation finding the back of the net, and that's going to get this crowd up. Not very many empty seats here at Corner Sport Arena. The suites are packed. Both North and South End are packed. And it is deafening. I know we've been saying that quite a bit, but we're saying it for a reason. It's the absolute truth.
Hard to hear one's own thoughts here.
Hard to hear anything. Escalante over to Gonzalez. He somehow gets by several Kansas City Comets defenders. And Hernandez is going to get called for the foul on Reggett.
Yeah, Popper just cleaned out Zach Reggett's feet right there. Easy call for today's officials. Berto steps over the ball to get it back into play.
Reggett, a former MASL Rookie of the Year. Quite the career he's had. Berto on the counter. He's got Reggett wide open to the right. Reynoso gets in his way. Lucas Souza right into the knees of Hernandez. And Escalante is going to head it back to Reynoso. Reynoso finds Puentes wide open. Stolen away by Garza. Too tough of a touch. And Quintana, who got a goal in that 2nd quarter, going to put on the brakes, passing it back to Arturo Valle. Puentes getting by Berto. Shot through into Garza.
Clear hold there against the back grab of the jersey. Easy call for tonight's officials to make.
Shot attempt. There's Reynoso again. Tovar with space to move. Tovar saved by Neto. Palmer heads it out of danger. Whistle is blown.
It looks like it is going to be a handball call here. Pretty clear handball.
Yeah, from what we're hearing, no question.
Although a top of the arc restart is going to be the call. Let's take a look on the replay here. Comes off the boards, bounces up. Ooh, hard to tell from that angle. It is going to be a top of the arc restart for the Savage.
Nunez set to start off. He's got Escalante to the right. Tovar to the left. Nobody marking Macias. Macias, a dangerous score within his own right.
Chihuahua asking for the Kansas City wall to get moved back a hair. Three-man wall.
Neto pulling back onto Reyes.
Neto really
Escalante deflects.
just high over the crossbar. You can see Neto really struggling to communicate with his wall there, even from just a few feet away. That's the noise you deal with here in Corner Sports Arena. Hard for the players to communicate with each other out there. It's a game of instincts, practice, and preparation in this arena.
Also pretty hard to hear a whistle. Comets have it on the restart.
Nacho Flores lined up over the ball.
Bounces. Savage kick it out of danger. Nacho deflected from Tovar right to Neto. Neto, the long ball. Reagan trying to get by Escalante. Escalante has been all over him. Trying to go for a walla, but nobody there. Reynoso coming well out of his box. Header! That was a close call. Acosta over to Garza. Quintana. And Nunez back over to Reynoso. Wide open is Hernandez with Puentes, a 2-on-1. Puentes! Misdirected. Golden opportunity for the Savage to score the equalizer.
Hugo La Roca Puentes had one of the best looks of this second half. Just unfortunately could not get the ball out from under his feet. Let's take another look here as they go for the Wallace Scora here off the low boards. Check back. Oh, wide open look. Could not get the ball goalward. He's going to want that one back.
And he is the team's leading scorer throughout the regular season and the playoffs. Miguel Angel Diaz. They go back to Reynoso. Picked up by Acosta, Leonardo Acosta, who scored a brilliant goal in the first half. That ball comes out of play. Right into the Savage bench.
Diaz fired that one into his own bench there. Looks like Hugo La Roca Puentes took that one for the team. Scramble in the corner.
Up to Ramos. Ray Lee is there to deflect it out of play. Santiago Ramos has looked quite comfortable for a rookie. As I mentioned, he came on late within the second half for the Savage. Didn't see much of him in the early parts of the season.
That is going to be a three-line pass against the Chihuahua Savage as that ball was played from defensive end to offensive end without touching anyone in between. It's going to come back to the offensive line here. Kansas City Comets get a chance to play it in. They have been so effective on set pieces.
Flores to Marquez. Marquez tried to find Lee just to that back right post. Savage off to the races. Flores is going to chest it back to Neto. Neto rolls it out to Lucas Souza. Souza's going to get fouled. Souza had a brilliant game over in Cable Dahmer Arena. been relatively quiet today.
9:45 left to play in the third quarter.
Reynoso. And there's Souza getting in the way of that pass from Reynoso to Gonzalez. Reynoso. Flores. Reagan tried to bring it on over to Ramon Palmer. La Roca. Neto with the slide. Open goal. Nunez to Gonzalez. Missed opportunity. Puentes tried to volley it to himself, but Kansas City's defense comes up big yet again. Oh, Neto nearly hitting the rafters on that pass.
Almost had our first superstructure violation of the game.
Puentes to Nunez. Gonzalez wide open to the left.
You know, that's one of my favorite terms in all of indoor.
What's your favorite term?
Superstructure violation, when a ball is played off the roof.
Sounds so imposing.
It's a powerful term.
That it is. Into Nunez, taken away by Berto. Nunez recovers. Tovar, back to Nunez, shot just misses to the left. Recovered by the Savage. Escalante. Taken away.
Unfortunately, Henry Ramirez just got a little too far out in front of that one. It's going to be a blue card, our first blue card of the game here, and our first power play of the game.
Tarjeta Azul. My dear friend Jonathan Reimer, why don't you explain to the new viewers at home what exactly a blue card means?
A blue card means that there will be a 5-on-4 power play for the next 2 minutes. Unless a goal is scored, the Chihuahua Savage are going to have the man advantage for the next 2 minutes.
And the power play does fall in favor of the Chihuahua Savage. Throughout the playoffs, they've been 3 for 7 on power plays. 429 your average, so that's going to be a big opportunity. The penalty kill for the Comets, a mere 1 for 7. So Chihuahua, a great opportunity to tie this game up.
Comets had a much better penalty kill on the regular season, averaging about 2/3 of their penalties killed.
Hernandez into Tovar. Tovar was shot deflected by Palmer.
Some confusion as to what direction it's going to go. It will be Kansas City ball.
7:44 to go here in this third quarter. Only 30 seconds have lapsed within the power play. Reggett somehow manages to stick with it. Gets up without Escalante marking him. But he gets stripped. Hernandez.
Reggett will head back to the bench. Andreos comes out.
Tovar. Over to Puentes. Puentes back to Tovar. Hernandez. Tovar with a shot. Deflects. Escalante has it. We're under 60 seconds within this power play.
Berto with a huge block there.
Shot deflected by Andreos. Goes into the crowd.
About 45 seconds left to go in the man advantage. It looks like we are going to head to a media timeout, folks, here with 45 seconds left on the power play with the Savage looking to knot the score up. You are watching MASL Ron Newman Cup Finals on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Welcome back to Corner Sports Arena. Folks, reminding you we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of the MASL. We have a new weekly show, 10 for 10, with host Eric Bergerud. Check out new episodes every week. Follow the MASL to learn more.
Chihuahua, sorry about that, my friend. 46 seconds left to go within this penalty kill. The Comets have done a good job stifling the power play of the Chihuahua Savage. And as we mentioned, the Chihuahua Savage's penalty power play has been excellent within this postseason. And so far, it's been the Comets getting the better of them. They have it on the restart as Berto Palmer set to kick things off. 7 minutes to go within the third quarter. Official blows his whistle. Palmer to Palmer. Berto to Ramon. Thought it might have been a handball for a second on Tovar. Hernandez. Puentes calling for it. Puentes. On to Reyes, doing a good job tracking back with Vandergrift. 30 seconds to go within this power play. Tovar with a shot. That just ding-dong ring-a-ling-a-lings off the right post. On to Reyes now has it. The Tasmanian Devil with space. Saved by Reynoso. Another attempt blocked by Hernandez. And we have a player down on the turf for the Savage. Looks like it's Carlos Hernandez.
Popper, who is down at the moment. Will be a common foul called against Kansas City. Chihuahua ball.
It's got boxed out pretty hard by Ramon Palmer. 5 seconds to go within this power play. Ramirez back up. Shot saved by Neto.
Massive penalty kill from the Kansas City Comets. We are back to even strength.
4-3 here in the third quarter. This was the result of game one. This game has been fantastic. The Comets have led the entire time. The Savage have been playing from behind here at home, something they are not used to. 10-1-0 over the course of the playoffs historically. Shot saved by Neto. Another attempt headed in by the Chihuahua Savage. It's Brian Flaquito Macias equalizing the game. Doctor, give us the news.
Beautiful goal by Flaquito Macias as the save from Neto comes high. He is unable to regain his feet. Flaquito Macias soars through the air and heads this one home. Starts with the great save by Neto. Unfortunately, KC unable to box out El Capitan, who finds the back of the net. We got a brand new ball game. It's 4-4.
You said it. Neto made a tremendous save, but there was nobody else to clear things up. Macias easily floats through the air with the greatest of ease, and now we are tied.
For the captain, Brian Flaquito Macias, that is his first goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. His fourth time finding the back of the net in these playoffs.
Which is surprising considering how many goals he scored throughout his career. Reynoso. First tie of the game between both teams since 0-0. Diaz intercepted by Kansas City. Garza was open to the left. Brilliant tackle by Quintana. Into the Savage on the counter. An attempt, there's Neto saying no, no, no. Another attempt by Quintana, just misses to the left. Or I should say the right. That all, of course, depends on your angle at home. Off the boards. Ray Lee has it. Flores. Over into the right. Ramon Palmer. Palmer into Lee. Lee over in Acosta. Finds. Brilliant pass into Ramon Palmer. Marquez. How he got that pass in to Palmer, I do not know. Leonardo Acosta, hard to believe he's only a rookie. Plays as if he's been in this league for years. Palmer with Puentes. Puentes now has it. Ping-ponging around. Valle into Puentes. And Neto is going to hop on it. The Savage faithful wanting a foul in the box. None will be given.
Great defense there by Kansas City inside the box. As that ball goes out of bounds, it will be Kansas City ball here on the near boards.
What did you call your favorite term?
Superstructure violation.
That was another close call. All kinds of action going on today. Heck, I even got my hand on the game ball at one point.
Nacho Flores lines up over the ball. He's got Chad Cheese Vandergriff right behind him.
Marquez in the box with Quintana marking him. Vandergriff with a shot.
That one up into the second level of fans.
Thought it was going to take out one of the speakers here at Corner Sport Arena.
It's going to take a minute to get that game ball all the way back down from the upper deck. Folks, while we have a moment, just want to remind you, MASLsoccer.com is your home for everything Major Arena Soccer League. All the latest news, leaderboards, highlights, and more available at MASLsoccer.com.
4 minutes and 7 seconds left to go within this third quarter. It's a tie ball game. Again, a reminder, if Kansas City wins, that forces the knockout game. If Chihuahua wins, they are back-to-back MASL champions. So much on the line. Nunez. Thought Nunez was going to get to it. Flores. Flores defensively has been airtight today. Nunez gets right by Nacho. Souza tracks back. Andreos kicks it out of danger. Valle trying to find Tovar. Escalante going to reset over to Reynoso. Souza applied the pressure. Ball bouncing. Tovar. There's Reggett. The Vamos Savage chants are starting. If I had a tough time hearing earlier, it's going to be even tougher right now. Escalante. And Hernandez goes down. Reggett not thrilled about that call.
Oh, Reggett's face is about the same color as his jersey right now. He has had a few disagreements with our officiating crew tonight. Pretty clear that they got that one correct.
Ramos over to Escalante. Great defense by Ramirez and Garza. Like I mentioned, Chihuahua very excited about this. We saw Escalante on a billboard as we left the airport. We heard them talk about it on the radio. It's a packed house here. I mean, this is one of Chihuahua's only professional teams. Is their baseball team no longer there? Marquez.
You do have the Dorados, who play in the Mexican Basketball Association. And, of course, the Chihuahua Savage here in the Major Arena Soccer League.
Only in their third season.
Here in the MASL, they did rise up from the ranks of M2.
Yeah, they were undefeated champions in the M2. Started out a little rough a couple seasons ago in the Major Arena Soccer League. They utilized a lot of their M2 players, but as they started bringing in players like Jorge Rios, Hugo Puentes, they started collecting wins. It became one of the hottest teams in their first season. Second year, they win the Ron Newman Cup. Third season, they're in the finals. Again, with 2 minutes and 22 seconds, they are tied here with the Kansas City Comets. Comets have not won the Ron Newman Cup in the modern MASL era. Looking to do so. They have a great opportunity to do so.
That ball played directly out of bounds will result in a top-of-the-arc restart. You can see Nicolau Neto screaming that hit the top of the boards on its way out. His cries are in vain, as it will be a set-piece opportunity for the Savage to go ahead and break the deadlock.
The X factor here will be Escalante to the right. Again, a laser beam of a shot. Through ball in, shot. Just misses. Out of play. Not going to say I'm the X's and O's guy, but we've seen Escalante do a lot of damage from that side of the turf. But a nice through ball into Puentes and a good idea by the Savage. Andreas is there. Into Vandergriff. Vandergriff trying to find Reggett. A lot of contact between him and Escalante.
It will be a foul on Escalante, the hero of game one. Kansas City ball. Good opportunity here for some set-piece magic from the Comets.
It's Marquez and Nacho lining up. Palmer just outside. Deflected by Nunez. Into Neto. And that was an emphatic header by Escalante. Ball comes in. Whistle on the turf.
It's going to be a hold called against, I believe, that's Tovar.
Yep, Eric Tovar, number 15.
On Reggett. Another brilliant opportunity for a set piece here from the Comets.
Tovar from Monterrey, Mexico, in his 7th year in the MASL. He's battled some physical adversity within his career, tore his ACL, but has championship experience. Certainly going back to that 2015 season where the Monterrey Flash won. Oh, open net for the Savage, but there's Nacho Flores getting in the way.
Oh, that might be the save of the game, and it's Nacho Flores who makes it.
We've called his name time and time again for making defensive stops. Shot just misses by Diaz. Marquez into Garza. Garza with room to run. Garza with a shot. Saved by Reynoso. Into Marquez. Marquez getting by Escalante, but he gets tripped up. It's going to be Comets ball with 1:08 to go in the third quarter. My voice was hoarse, of course, coming into this. It'll be gone at the conclusion of the game the way this is going.
Is that a Mr. Ed reference right there?
How you doing, Wilbur?
We'll blow the dust off that one.
Not showing our age with that reference. Flores into Marquez. Marquez turns around, just misses. Ding dong, pings off, and out of play.
That'll take a deflection off of Chihuahua on its way out. Corner kick upcoming for the Comets.
I mean, this sort of reminds me, well, if it was Nacho taking it, would have reminded me of what happened a mere 48 hours ago. One of the greatest Wallace scores I think I've ever seen. Marquez. Through ball in. Souza with a shot. Saved by Reynoso. Berto with an attempt. Ball is loose in the box. Escalante now has it. Getting by Berto. But there's Nacho getting in the way, and I think there's going to be a whistle to go against the captain.
That is Escalante once again getting called for the foul there. You can see Berto emphatically screaming that that is 6. And we have a blue card that has been shown. That is the 4th foul of the second half. And that is going to result in a blue card penalty against Chihuahua. And with a chance to break the deadlock, Kansas City Comets are going on the power play.
Tarjeta Azul. Official showing timeout. Kansas City head coach Stefan Stokic wanted to talk things over before we resume action. 52 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Folks, in this timeout, we're going to take a quick moment here to discuss some of the hot news around the league. And that, of course, Philly, is going to be the man who entered the league this year and took home 2 different awards. Not only a co-Golden Boot winner with Zach Reggett, but MASL Newcomer of the Year, named to the Elite Six, Mexican superstar, Mr. Marvelous himself, Marco Fabian.
Marco Fabian, a member of the Mexican national team where he won a gold medal in the London Games in 2012, a longtime member of massive club Chivas de Guadalajara, hoisted a trophy in the Bundesliga with Eintracht Frankfurt. He's been around. And the question for a lot of outdoor players coming in the indoor game, will they transition? Relatively easy. Well, Mr. Marvelous, Mr. Magnificent, Mr. Marco has, within the 21 games that he played for the Empire Strikers, 35 goals to go along with 12 assists, 47 points. I think Marco got the knack for the indoor game.
47 points in 21 games. Marco has stormed into the Major Arena Soccer League, was the landslide winner for Newcomer of the Year, and despite not playing the entire season, he arrived a few games into the season, he was still co-Golden Boot winner alongside Zach Reggett of the Kansas City Comets. Welcome to the MASL, Marco Fabian. It's amazing to have world-class superstar outdoor talent transitioning to the indoor game with such ease. Looking forward to seeing more from Marco next season. He will be returning to the Empire Strikers, playing just east of Los Angeles, California, in the Western Conference of the Major Arena Soccer League.
And he's just the tip of the iceberg. Marco has a lot of friends, a lot of very talented friends. He brought over Miguel Ponce, who didn't adapt as quickly as Marco did, but still a very big name in the outdoor game.
Teammate of Marcos at Chivas de Guadalajara.
We resume play, 40 seconds to go within the third quarter.
Man advantage here for Kansas City for the next minute, 55 seconds. Huge opportunity to take the lead.
Reggett, crossfield pass into Souza, broken up by Macias.
You know Reggett is dying to stamp his name on the scorecard today.
He's hungry for goals. He scored 35 of them in the regular season. Shot deflects off of Valle into the net. Comets are going to maintain possession with 13 seconds to go and a minute 33 within the power play. Comets, as far as their power play is concerned, it's the same as their penalty kill coming into today's game, 1 for 7. Can they convert? Find themselves leading here at Corner Sport Arena. Do or die scenario for the Comets. Every possession matters. Nacho on the restart. Up top to Reggett. Zach Reggett. Ball is loose. Reggett another shot. Just misses to the left. Savage. 5 seconds to go. Shot.
High up into the netting. We have 1 second remaining here in the third quarter, which means when we come back, it will be about 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the power play and the man advantage for the Kansas City Comets. Folks, you are watching the Major Arena Soccer League Ron Newman Cup Finals on CBS Sports Golazo Network.
Back here at Corner Sport Arena. It's been a tight one thus far. Score at 4-4. I know we mentioned Marco Fabian's goal scoring at 35. Zach Reggett did 35 within 22 games, so he too should be commended for the effort that he had. It was a co-Golden Boot lead, but Reggett thus far has been kept relatively quiet. Credit to the Chihuahua Savage defense for absolutely man-marking him. But Reggett has been playing with tenacity. Perhaps only a matter of time before we see Reggett get loose, fire one in.
You have to figure that the defensive attention being played to Zach Reggett, the fact that he is constantly facing a double team, that's freeing up somebody, particularly a defender, to get that open look. And we know in this arena and in this league, defenders can score from anywhere in the offensive zone, even out into midfield and shoot here in Corner Sports Arena. Unsurprising to see shots taken even from your own defensive quarter of the field. So with all the attention being paid to Zach Reggett, that's allowing the likes of Ray Lee, Ramon Palmer, Rian Marks, and of course Leonardo Acosta to find the back of the net.
The leader as far as goals go, though, for the playoffs is Nacho Flores.
See shots on goal heavily favoring the home team, 33-23. Saves featured to Diego Reynoso. Fouls fairly even, Comets slightly ahead.
15 minutes to determine something. If it stays this way, we're heading into overtime. A lot on the line for both teams. If you're not entertained by any of this, then I'm sorry, you do not have a pulse.
Minute and 6 seconds left in the man advantage for the Kansas City Comets.
Underway in the fourth quarter. Macias heads it out of play. Macias had a huge header, scoring a goal within the third quarter.
So we hear the dulcet tones of Que Bonito es Chihuahua echoing through the arena. The anthem of the city, state, and township.
Que bonita it is. I know it doesn't come up on many people's tourist destinations in Mexico, but truly a lovely city with some magnificent people, hospitality, and food. Ball comes out of play, off of Marquez. Savage ball.
42 seconds left in the man advantage.
Quintana finds Macias. Macias being marked by Souza. Ball comes into Reynoso with Palmer. That's been a good idea, as Reynoso has mainly thrown the ball to his teammates.
It's going to be a foul called here against Kansas City. Restart opportunity for Chihuahua, who are doing a fantastic job on the penalty kill. As we see down here in the low boards. Celito Lindo is the song you hear. Mariachi band up in the upper deck, serenading everyone.
These fans have been tremendous, as have been the fans of the Kansas City Comets. Shot blocked by Andreas. Comets had a tremendous attendance at Cable Dahmer Arena, been leading the league in attendance for quite some time. Credit to Brian Roth and the rest of the Kansas City front office. Both arenas, Corner Sport and Cable Dahmer, capacity, sellout crowds. This is what you want out of the Major Arena Soccer League.
Final few seconds of the man advantage.
Souza with a shot. That gets headed high and into that, what'd you call it?
I believe we have our first superstructure violation of the game.
You've been dying to say that. I had to give it to you.
Yes! The ball will be played at the offensive line.
Flores into Reggett. Reggett chips it over to Ramon Palmer. Palmer back over to Reggett.
Power play over. We are back to full strength.
And Marquez sticking with it. Brandon Gonzalez. Marquez still has it. Now we have a whistle.
Foul called against Kansas City just outside the box. Chihuahua ball.
Saw Reggett argue with the official thinking that a whistle went against him, but that's not the official's whistle. That would be the whistle that you hear over in the supporters section. God, this atmosphere is fantastic.
The entire arena is singing along with the mariachi band to Celito Lindo, and I love it.
I don't know what y'all are hearing at home, but this is fun, as has been this game. Nerve-wracking to say the least. Palmer making a tremendous defensive play on Nunez. Throws an elbow. That doesn't get called. I don't know if the official saw that. Berto needing to keep his cool. Santiago Ramos heads it. Escalante That's going to be a foul on Lennis.
Just coming in with a little too much of it and vinegar there into the corner. Is going to get called for the foul against Escalante.
Michael Lennis, another one of these super rookies on the Kansas City Comets from Weston, Florida originally. Nunez over to the right. Taken away by Berto. That ball comes, looked like, wasn't off of Henoni Martinez, it was off another one of the staff of the Savage. The bench sort of laughing there.
That was a solid header there from the bench. Well played.
You know, I thought I was sweating looking down at Henoni Martinez, the head coach of the Chihuahua Savage. He's one of the most animated coaches that you'll see in this game. Opted to wear black today. Good idea because it is hot. Gray suits tend to show and reveal sweating. Quintana looking to get by Andreos. And that's going to be another whistle on the turf. Is it against Christian? Not sure if it went against the Tasmanian Devil himself. Yes, folks, that is his nickname. One that he actually had a vote for a season or two ago.
As we see a replay here, Andreo struggling for position. Ends up taking the legs out from under his opponent.
An energetic and positive presence in the Kansas City Comets locker room. Of course, social media as well. Quintana, the big defender, already has one goal already today. Up to the left. 12:20 to go here in this fourth quarter. We have another
ball up here into the broadcast booth. Well played down there by the Savage staff, manning our cameras and electronic board today.
Escalante. He's going to have a shot opportunity. Ball deflects in. I thought it deflected in. That was such a close call, within a nose hair. Savage trying to get out of their defensive third. Ray Lee picks it up now in midfield. Lee over to Berto Palmer. Palmer to Palmer. Simply irresistible passing, if I must say so myself. There's Berto again.
Speaking of Robert Palmer, plays that one high up over the boards and off into the seats, allowing both teams a chance to get some fresh legs out on the turf.
Robert Palmer, 12 seasons indoor. He's had substantial experience playing indoor soccer. A veteran of this game, multiple-time winner of the Defender of the Year award. Back into the playoffs. Hernandez. Popper trying to pop one in. Debray. Referee blows his whistle.
It's going to be looks like a handball there called against Chihuahua, just inside their offensive zone. Nacho Flores over it.
Neto out of his box. Brandon Gonzalez is their shot. Just misses above the crossbar. Another close attempt for the Savage. They're knocking on Neto's door.
Really poor play out the back there from Neto. You can't have turnovers like that, especially on this small turf.
Less than 11 to go. Souza playing that pressure defense, not only on Escalante, but on Reynoso. Good idea. And as Bob Uecker would say, just a bit, well, no, definitely outside. Outside of the field of play.
I think Savage might be lucky that ball didn't go back to the keeper because that was off Valle. That would have been a second touch off Reynoso. And they are going to say, never mind that the ball went off of Kansas City, so forget what I just said.
Retract previous statement, delete.
Scratch that, it's going to be a corner.
Marquez shot. Reynoso got his paws on it. Valle and Berto Reggett now. Reggett getting away from his defender. That nearly slips through.
Reggett irate a foul was not called on that shot right there. Felt he was being pulled down from behind.
And that's going to go against Marquez. I mean, he was hanging on for dear life to Puentes.
Zach Reggett still chirping at the officials about his shot there. Marquez heads to the bench with a smile on his face knowing he did that one.
Escalante, that laser beam just misses. Another attempt headed out of danger by Berto. Nacho into Vandergriff, trying to find Andreas. Souza, shot.
Well wide, well high.
Oh my.
Score sits at 4-4. We are knotted up in Game 2 of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. Hair over 10 minutes left to play in the game.
Good first touch by Tovar.
A reminder to those of you just tuning in, if we are tied at the end of regulation, we will go into golden goal overtime. Kansas City come out on top. We will have a 10-minute break before the knockout game determines the Ron Newman Cup champion. Should the Savage take the lead and win this game, it will be over, and they will be back-to-back Ron Newman Cup champions.
Comets have led the vast majority of this game. Savage clawed back, down by as much as 4-2. Supporters getting into it. The drums are banging. We hear the percussion instruments. Reggett with some space. Reggett's going to get pushed down. That's going to be a foul against Chihuahua.
Reggett claiming this has to be a blue card as that was a denial of a goal score opportunity, and a challenge flag has been thrown from the Kansas City bench. A challenge flag has been thrown. Sorry, I got animated. I reached in there. We are going to go to the video review here for a challenge for a potential blue card.
Stefan Stokic issuing out that right. Why don't you tell the viewers at home exactly how the challenge flag works?
In regulation, each coach is allowed one video review challenge. We will go to the monitors here and see if this is denial of a goal scoring opportunity and worthy of perhaps a blue card, perhaps a penalty shot as well too, if tonight's officiating crew deems it worthy.
Stefan Stokic ordering his team to come back and not to chirp anymore with the officials.
So we see our officials gathering to take a look here. Try and queue up a replay for you folks to take a look at it. Again, a common foul was the adjudication. The question here is whether or not it is denial of a goal-scoring opportunity on Zach Reggett and whether or not that warrants a blue card and perhaps a penalty shot. So you see Reggett lining up for the shot. Hard to tell the contact from that angle. Let's take another look here. The feet of Reggett.
It looks like he got tripped from behind by Miguel Angel Diaz.
There's a little bit of a pull. There's definitely some tangling of the feet. Reggett having his foot go into the ground on the shot there as well too. We'll see if there's enough in this for the officials. See a little bit of a hand on the shoulder there, and then there is contact between the feet. The fans here today have certainly stated embellishment is what they believe that is. Show on the replay monitor here above us has the fans convinced this is not a blue card. No blue card is the call from today's officials. Kansas City has used their challenge. They will not have another challenge in regulation.
Big turn of events thus far. Kansas City still has possession, though.
It is still a common foul. No blue card. Set piece opportunity and a big one here from a dangerous location for Kansas City.
I see Reggett completely wide open on the left. That's as open as he's been all game long. Souza with a shot. Off of the wall. Taken away by Nunez. Flores deflects. Reggett and Nunez. Collision down on the turf.
It is going to be a foul called against Chihuahua. Foul on Zach Reggett. It's going to be Casey's ball.
Fuentes going box to box. There he is open. Nacho Flores, their shot saved by Neto. And Neto goes down.
Neto is taking a minute here. He is grabbing, appears to be his shoulder here. And they are asking for the trainer to come on out. Sean Doomers here heading on out to give a look at Nicolau Neto. Hopefully if he is okay to go. If he has to come out of this game, that means Philip Ejimadu, affectionately known as Edgy, will come on in. Edgy warming up here on the low boards in front of us. As we take a look at the stats here so far, goals all knotted up at 4. Chihuahua up by about 50% there on shots on goal, 3-2. Saves now favoring the Kansas City Comets. Fouls also a 3-2 ratio there. Kansas City committing more today. Neto still down on the turf, still receiving some treatment. Philip Ejimadu quickly trying to get himself loose and ready if he has to come into this game.
When you have the likes of a Nicolau Neto on your team, you're not going to get many minutes. So the question's going to be, how ready is Philip Ejimadu? He has played in a couple of games thus far in the playoffs.
Ejimadu averaging about 7.8 goals per game against himself. Stark contrast from Neto's 4.6. But it does appear as though Neto is good to go. Ejimadu heading back to the bench. Neto is going to remain in the game, having a quick conversation with Berto Palmer.
You and I and Philip Ejimadu go back years. As you mentioned, he was a former member of the Los Angeles Football Club. Actually, one of my very first interviews of an LAFC player back in 2019. An infectious smile, a heck of a young man. Comes to us by way of Minnesota and Brazil. Very well traveled. Escalante on the restart. An attempt, open look by Puentes. Gets a little too much Tapatio on that shot as it goes above the crossbar. 9 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Vandergriff and Castro. Castro kicks it out of play. It's Comets ball.
Folks, get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams by following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram and MASL Arena on Twitter. For those of you who tick and or talk, you can follow MASL Soccer there as well too.
If you've ever sounded like an old man, it would have been right there. Reggett tried to slip it through, but there's Reynoso again.
I'm pretty sure once you reach the fourth floor, the ticking and the talking is no longer allowed.
I'm just going to leave that one alone. Reynoso over into the right to Tovar.
At my age, I'm more worried about my ticker than my TikTok, but you know.
You, my friend, are funny. Vandergriff and Macias into the midfield. Palmer. Escalante. And there's Berto playing the defense. Papa Hernandez, Carlos over to the left. Tovar. And there's Quintana. Both these teams playing their hearts out today. Neither one giving up. Neither one showing any signs of weakness either. Quintana Marquez. Quintana wins that one.
Reggett's going to chase this one down. Zach certainly retreated into more of a defensive role here throughout the course of the second half, given the double team that he's been facing when he's been up at the top in the offense. Smart move by Stefan Stokic to move him back into the defensive side of things.
And And that's going to be whistled against Regan as Hugo Puentes gets pushed into the boards. 7:18 to go here within this fourth quarter. They're still knotted up at 4 apiece.
Restart for Chihuahua, just around from the corner
of Corner Sport Arena. There's an old man dad joke for you. Puentes on the restart. Up top. Back over to Puentes. Quintana misses and out of play. It's going to be a goalkeeper restart for Neto.
Folks, we are going to head to our media timeout of the fourth quarter. You are watching the Ron Newman Cup Finals of the MASL on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Welcome back to Corner Sports Arena. The sounds of Vicente Fernandez, El Rey himself, echoing through Corner Sports Arena, compliments of our in-house mariachi band and about 1,600 backup singers here as the score is knotted at 4-4 with 7 minutes and 11 seconds left to play in regulation.
1,600? I thought this place held 12. Where'd the other 400 come from? Still feels like 12,000 to me if you ask. Have to ask. 7 to go in this fourth quarter. Who's going to strike next? Cut through the tension with a steak knife. Hernandez all the way up top. Puentes with an attempt blocked by the Comets, and there's Nacho Flores again. Hernandez and Marquez get tangled up in midfield.
Massive block by Nacho Flores.
He's having an outstanding game defensively. The Comets' game plan has worked out quite well, stifling the Savage on many occasions. Puentes into Diaz. Diaz putting Berto on skates, saved by Neto.
Beautiful footwork by Miguel Angel Diaz. Unfortunately, could not get the ball past Nicolau Neto.
Savage pressing high.
It's going to be a foul as Ray Lee finds himself on the turf. It will be Comets ball playing out of their own defensive end.
Hugo Puentes up there trying to get Berto to redirect. Marquez has it, gets by Quintana. He's running with on the rail. Shot! I think Reynoso got his hand on it. Nunez. Holloman just lets that one go through into Neto. Marquez doesn't have any teammates to run with. That's a back heel from Tovar into Gonzalez. Nunez over to Ramos. Ramos to Escalante. Garza trying to push Escalante off the ball. Tremendous defense by Garza. He's going to get whistled for the foul, but you got to credit Garza with the tenacity. Escalante, not an easy player to strip. Escalante now to Ramos. Tries to thread it into Tovar. Vandergrift pushing Tovar away. Savage looking to restart. Escalante. Lennis now. Reynoso, Ramos. It's back and forth action. Santiago Ramos getting by. Ramos with a shot. Misses wide.
Ramos grabs his face. Can't believe he put that wide.
Escalante. He misses upper right corner.
You see Santiago Ramos still angry with himself as he charges to the bench, slamming his hands against the dasher boards. Frustrated he didn't break the deadlock.
One of the many talented rookies that we're seeing on this turf. Ramos.
For Ramos, that would have been his first goal of the finals, the playoffs, and the season.
Regged. That one goes all the way around.
I think Reynoso got a touch to that one on its way through.
Savage threatening here. Souza. Tremendous defense. Quintana's going to pick it up.
Looks like we got Zach Reggett still down on the offensive end against the boards, grabbing his left ankle. Zach Reggett appears to be in some pain down there. Co-Golden Boot winner on the season, struggling to put any weight on that left foot and get to his feet.
He's as tough as they get in the Major Arena Soccer League. Being somewhat antagonized right now by the Savage bench.
You can tell the grit on his face as he grabs that foot and heads back to the bench. Hope Zach is okay. Wishing him the best.
The Comets need Zach Reggett. Zach Reggett needs the Comets. Right now, both teams need to score, otherwise we're heading into overtime.
4 minutes and 20 seconds left to find a winner in regulation, or we go to golden goal overtime.
Macias heads it high. Bing-bonged itself between Quintana and Marquez. Marquez had it, poked away by Macias. Macias has it. Nacho Flores is there yet again. The captain playing ice-cold defense. And that ball comes out of play.
Looks like it took a deflection, so it's going to be just played in from the spot against the boards here. No top of the arc, despite the fervent requests from the Chihuahua faithful.
Intercepted by Vandergrift. Garza try to find Lennis. Romero heads it back to Reynoso. Headed over to the opposite side. Berto's there. Garza heads it. Collision in the box. And Neto goes down.
It is eventually going to be a foul called against Chihuahua. That on Neto. That appears to be Escalante once again. He has already served a blue card for 4 fouls in the half. He quickly heads back to the bench. You can see that they are asking for a 6th foul.
Just waiting for confirmation. I could see the display of 6 fingers from multiple members on the Kansas City Comets side.
If indeed it is 6 on Escalante, that means he is heading to the locker room. He would be eligible to return in a knockout game, but for the remainder of regulation and overtime, he would be out of today's match. You can see Berto holding up the 6, the rest of the Savage players holding up a 5. I have lost track myself. We're going to go to the official scorers table to find out.
Stefan Stokic having a conversation Still waiting on confirmation as to what the story is. Whether or not 6 fouls is going to be awarded to Escalante. And as you mentioned, it'd be a very big loss for the Savage.
He was the star of game 1, 2 goals and an assist. No red card shown, so that must be a 5th foul, which means Escalante is 1 away from heading to the locker room here with 3:20 left to play.
Puentes. So we're getting confirmation that, in fact, there's 4 fouls, not 6. Either way, we resume a shot by Hernandez. That just missed to the right. Comets looking to strike. And Acosta goes down. Foul against Romero. The Tijuanense not very happy with that whistle. See that replay once again. Acosta crossing midfield. Yeah, Rian Marquez, you got in the way, buddy.
Come on, Rian, get out of our shot.
Berto on the restart, laying it off to Acosta. Acosta with a shot. Does not phase Reynoso. Reynoso to the corner. Hernandez sandwiched between Reggett and Palmer. Reggett raising his hand. Not entirely sure why. Tovar regains possession. Back over to Romero. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go within this 4th quarter. Berto gets in the way of a Tovar header. Gonzalez. Multiple Savage players open just on the outside. Reggett's going to be called for the foul on Hernandez.
Reggett just got caught right there. Unfortunately, his weight the wrong direction, got completely beat on the dribble. Had no choice left but to foul.
Tactical. Escalante comes back onto the turf. Not sure where the miscommunication came from. Multiple players again on the comments were showing 6 fouls. Escalante only ruled with 4. Romero wide open on the opposite side of the turf. Escalante over to Romero. Shot. Out of play.
Deflect off a Comet. It will be goalkeeper distribution at the hands of Nicolau Neto. As soon as the ball makes it back into play, folks, catch MASL Monday every Monday night on Twitch. Alex Bostjavansky and Phil Levanko are joined each week by special guests from across the league to recap the week's games and discuss the league's hot topics.
See what happens when you get a man from Vancouver with a man from Queens in the room together. They create magic. Marquez nearly knocks out a speaker. Geez, the way that's suspended. Well, never mind.
They got a few to spare here, not in want of sound system equipment here at Corner Sports Arena.
Whistle against Ramirez. Ramirez already was in the box.
Lucky to avoid a boarding call there, as that foul was close to taking the player into the boards.
And that's going to go against the Comets.
It's going to be Henry Ramirez getting called for the foul there.
And he knew it too. No arguments from him. Less than 2 minutes to go here in this 4th quarter. Nunez slides it through. Shot, and we got a goal. Chihuahua Savage pull one back for the first lead of the game with 1 minute and 42 seconds. What a tremendous goal by the Savage.
Just less than 2 minutes left in the game, and the Chihuahua Savage have taken the lead. It's a beautiful shot here from inside, finding the far netting there. Allowed way too much time and space on the ball. Able to stop, turn, find the spot, just pick out some side netting. Beautiful stuff from the Savage as they take the lead with 1 minute and 35 left in the game. What could prove to be the goal that sends Chihuahua home with a cup, and it is none other than Hugo La Roca Puentes to give his team the lead.
The Rock, not to be denied, the leading scorer for the Savage over the regular season. The leading scorer for the Savage over the playoffs comes up huge as his side finds their first lead in this game. And a timeout down on the turf, but we're going to stick with you, folks. Again, thank you so much for tuning into the CBS Sports Golazo Network. What a game. 9 goals between these two sides, but with 1:42, it is not over yet. I saw Robert Palmer put on the 6th attacker jersey, and as we witnessed, the 6th attacker for the Kansas City Comets can be quite deadly.
We have seen Ron Newman Cup finals here south of the border that had 2 goals scored with 7 seconds left in the game once to send home a winner. It is going to be an empty net for Kansas City. Berto, as the 6th attacker, will don the yellow 6th attacker jersey.
Marquez into Berto. As we mentioned, 6th attacker for the Comets. Neto is on the bench.
Oh, Zach Reggett just took a strong hand to the face there.
The possible nail in the coffin. And it is! The Chihuahua Savage go up. The score is now 6-4. Brandon Gonzalez threading the netting on the 2-on-1 counter. Corner Sport Arena has erupted. Doctor, give us the news.
Brandon Gonzalez versus the empty net. It was 2-on-1 with Berto trying to man the net. Beautiful slide over pass from Diaz to the wide open man who taps it home. A 2-goal lead with 1:19 left to play in the game. The hill to climb is becoming ever more insurmountable for Kansas City, but this game is not over yet. We have seen flurries of goals scored with less than a minute. Comets still have a chance to find themselves back in this game. You can see the Kansas City bench really frustrated that a foul was not called on Zach Reggett at the other end of the field, but the ball comes all the way down and finds itself in the back of the net, and Savage have taken a 6-4 lead with $1:20 left to play.
Brandon Gonzalez in his 4th year in the MASL couldn't have picked a better time to find such an important goal.
We're going to take a look at the replay here, and we see Reggett continuation on the play of the ball. Not sure if this is going to be enough to get looked at. Kansas City has already used their challenge, so this would have to be a challenge initiated by the officials.
Obviously, that would be huge if the officials ruled this. I mean, they are in the booth reviewing it.
It is under review. An officials challenge is underway for a potential foul on Zach Reggett. Diego Reynoso gets his hands in front of the shot from Reggett, goes off Reggett's head into Reynoso's hands. The carry through of Reynoso brings his hands through Zach Reggett. Is that going to be enough to bring this back?
I mean, no question, Reynoso cleaned Reggett's clock. Contact was made. Just waiting to see what that review is going to be.
This would be a massive call. It would wipe Chihuahua's goal off the board. And it appears as though
judging by the body language of the Kansas City Comets,
goal is good. Folks, I suppose it is a perfect time to say
we're still waiting for official clarification.
We are no goal. The score is 5-4. A foul on Zach Reggett has wiped Chihuahua's 6th goal off the board.
A lifeline has been thrown to the Comets right now, only down by 1 with 1:20. Berto wearing the 6th attacker jersey. Neto goes to the bench.
It says 6-4 on your screen. It is 5-4. The goal has been wiped off. A set piece opportunity here.
Nacho to Ray Lee. Berto with a shot saved by Reynoso. Another huge save for Reynoso. Neto gets back in the box. Souza heads it high. Marquez to Souza. Tim and Macias fighting for it. 60 seconds to go in the fourth. And in this game, possibly for the season for the Comets. Can they strike back? Ray Lee has it. Ray Lee lets it go. Ray Lee just misses within a nose hair to the right of the post. Over to the left. Neto paws it. A header. Just misses. Another opportunity. And the goal that was denied earlier by Brandon Gonzalez. He gets it back. The exclamation point. The nail in the coffin. Brandon Gonzalez coming up with a huge goal. Being denied moments ago. Finds his way into the back of the net. And this arena has exploded.
It is deafeningly loud in Corner Sports Arena, where the initial header goes high off the glass. The follow-through stumbled its way over the line, and it's Brandon Gonzalez who gets a boot to it, steers it goalward, and the 6-4 lead at the feet of Brandon Gonzalez is returned.
Brandon Gonzalez, in his fourth year in the Major Arena Soccer League, has come up huge. Started his career outdoors within Liga MX for Monterrey's Rayados, Youth Academy within the U20. He was a U17 champ with Rayados, player that's seen some success in the outdoor game and the indoor game. He's had a tremendous, tremendous night.
Brandon Gonzalez initially has his first goal of the Ron Newman Cup Finals waved off. Oh, is there a potential handball in the box there, though? Could they be looking at this once again? Could Brandon Gonzalez have 2 goals within the final minute and a half wiped off? As we take another look here, the ball comes off the boards. The failed header, does it come off the hand as it comes up? My goodness!
That would be wild to see 2 goals for the same player get denied within moments of each other.
This is under official review. Is that a play off the hand right there? I have to say, from this angle, it is really hard to tell if that is shoulder, hand, bicep. Is there enough in it to wipe this goal off? I think there is.
That looks like a hand.
There is going to be a handball called, and I believe once again, Brandon Gonzalez is going to have a goal wiped off. My goodness.
And was that Diaz who got called for the handball? If this goal gets overturned, which the scoreboard still shows 6-4, another lifeline gets thrown to Kansas City. 37 seconds. Berto and Neto are in the box. We'll no doubt see a 6th attacker one way or another. Question is, will we go to 5-4 or will it remain 6-4?
A 1-goal advantage versus a 2-goal advantage. A massive swing of the pendulum here with 36 seconds left remaining in regulation. It appears as though the officials are going back to the replay monitor a second time to look at it again. We're going to do the same. Ball comes off the dasher board. Down to Diaz, who misses the header. It bounces up, and it certainly appears from this angle to be played off his hand before the ball falls to the feet of Brandon Gonzalez, who could have 2 goals wiped off. That angle from behind is less convincing, and no goal. No goal. Handball. 6-5. 6th goal for Savage. Wiped off the board a second time.
Score is now 5-4, 37 seconds left. Comets still an opportunity to create the equalizer. Oh, folks in Kansas City, I'm feeling for you right now. This game has been wild, utterly insane, intense. 37 seconds left to go. Anything can happen. Berto restarts it from Nacho. Back to Berto. Berto's going to lob it into Marquez, who heads it off of the board. Souza has it. Take it away. There's Brandon Gonzalez. Nacho tracks back. Whistle. Not sure what that whistle was. Are you?
I think it's going to be a foul on the low boards here. It's going to be called against the Comets. It will be Savage ball just inside their own defensive.
Neto back in his box. An opportunity broken up by Neto. Less than 20 seconds to go. Savage still have possession. Macias I think Flaquito's going to get...
A challenge flag has been thrown from the Chihuahua Savage bench. A challenge flag has been thrown.
I think I've ever said this, but this is the longest 60 seconds of my life. Henoni Martinez threw the challenge flag.
You can see Diego Reynoso emphatically pointing to his elbow. Stefan Stokic encouraging his team to retreat to the bench. We will head back to the video monitor for the third time in less than a minute and a half to once again see if the call on the field needs correction.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I've lost some moments of my life expectancy with how intense tonight's game has been. Whether you're a fan of the Savage or the Comets, my heart goes out to you. This game has been insane.
The play from both teams has been on point. The tension has equaled the moment. We'll head to the review monitor here. Ball comes into the boards. And they're going to say that's an elbow. That would be contact above the shoulders, would be the call here. Nacho Flores would be the culprit.
Would the elbow to Romero warrant the challenge flag?
Keep an eye on the right hand.
Looks like it went right to his neck.
Romero grabbing the side of his face. You can hear the crowd chanting, Azul, Azul. They want a blue card, and they are going to get it. No blue card?
See Reggett clapping and Puentes saying something to him. Love to know what. Well, we've got 12 seconds in this game, and there's a power play. This game has had it all.
Nacho Flores heads to the sin bin. He will be out for the final 12 seconds of the match. Neto trying to stay in goal. Berto is still out there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. He's wearing the 6th attacker jersey, and Neto's still out there. 12 seconds. Can the Comets pull off a miracle, or will the Savage be back-to-back champions? 12 seconds, or the way this game's been going, who knows how much longer. Restart in from the Savage. Into Nunez. Neto comes far out of the box. 10 seconds to go. Hernandez to Puentes. Kicked out of play by Marquez, and at this point denying the inevitable.
2 seconds remain between Chihuahua Savage and a Ron Newman Cup as they are poised to become back-to-back champions. Everyone in the arena is on their feet.
1-0, and there you have it, folks. The final whistle goes off. The Chihuahua Savage are your 2024 Major Arena Soccer League Ron Newman Cup champions. Congratulations to the Savage, back-to-back champions. You can hear the excitement in the air. Shout out to the Kansas City Comets and their fans. The Comets had a tremendous season. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They played so well. Had a rough start to the season. After losing to the Savage in February by a score of 3-2, they went on a tremendous streak as the postseason came through. Had some awesome games. Nearly lost a heartbreaker to the Milwaukee Wave, but stuck with it. Christian Andreas coming up the victor in that game, bringing them to this, a heartbreaking loss at Cable Dahmer Arena. And here we are, a tightly contested game in Corner Sport Arena. They played their hearts out. Again, big shout out to the Kansas City Comets and their fans.
Folks, your goal scorers for the Comets tonight: Leonardo Acosta, Ramon Palmer, Ray Lee and Rion Marquez. For the Chihuahua Savage, Miguel Angel Diaz, Hugo La Roca Puentes, Adriano Nunez, Brian Flaquito Macias, and Christian Quintana. Your final score, 5-4. The Chihuahua Savage are your Ron Newman Cup champions. Folks, we are going to take a quick break, and we are going to come right back with some post-game interviews and stay right here for the trophy ceremony as well. You are watching the Chihuahua Savage win the Ron Newman Cup here on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Their way past Commissioner Keith Tozier. He had a moment to address the fans here, congratulating everyone in Chihuahua as they get to go home tonight. And let's be honest, there's probably not too many people here that are going to be heading straight home. It is a national holiday in Mexico tomorrow, so I have a feeling, my friend, it's going to be a late night for a lot of these folks.
I mean, it's already a late night. We're looking at 11:47 on a Tuesday night, and nothing says success quite like enjoying the festivities and the nightlife on a Tuesday.
Impressive performance across the board. Popper, Carlos Hernandez making his way down the red carpet. Popper was such a huge piece of this team, came up in massive moments both last year and this year. Alrighty, folks, on behalf of Christian Philemon and myself, we'd like to thank you so much for tuning in to the Ron Newman Cup Championship game. Mike Cepeda and our amazing broadcast production team did a heck of a job putting all this together for us. Came down early, got everything set up south of the border. To our lead camera operator, George, and to all of our staff here with the Chihuahua Savage, thank you so much for everything. Philly, any final words for the fans?
It was a tremendous season. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into us, whether it's on an Empire Strikers broadcast or here in Corner Sport Arena. We love y'all. Thank you so much, and we'll be back again for our 5th season calling games in this league. Again, my name is Christian Philemon. I'm with Jonathan the Dr. Reimer, and we'll see y'all in a couple of months. Enjoy the evening. Have a great off season. We'll see you soon.
Peace and love. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next year.